I bet you weren't expecting this, were you? I bet you weren't prepared for 2 consecutive, high-tier, jam-packed Vosh stream extravaganzas. Hello, my friends. Were you ready? I don't think you were. You know, honestly, I've been running over the numbers, you know? I've been checking my sheets. I've been looking it all over. And I just don't think you guys were ready. I don't think you guys adequately prepared for the possibility that you could be dazzled with 2 back-to-back high-tier streams. But nonetheless, here we are. We're just going to have to make do. My website is having a grand old time not refreshing the chat right now. That's what I like to see the moment I start streaming. That's the high-quality shit I come here for. I love it. Oh. There we go. Now they're back. Here, let me refresh the damn thing. Silly fucking website. There we go. Ah, you fucking goofballs. Oh, man. How are we doing today? We've got a lot of stuff to cover. So, to address the initial curiosity, this is important. PewDiePie didn't do anything new. I'm going to be going over that video again. I talk a lot about good rhetoric here in this stream. I think that ideas are only as good as they can be conveyed to others, you know? So, when I did the video yesterday, doing good, doing great, whatever, I realized there was a critical flaw in my rhetoric. You see, at the beginning of the video, I said that I don't care what PewDiePie personally believes. I only care what the outcomes of his actions and advocacy are. And that's true. But then later on in that video, later on in that stream, I spend an inordinate amount of time arguing that the confluence of PewDiePie's misbehavior over the past 2 years can only mean he has far-right sympathies. These are contradictory positions. If I truly do not care what PewDiePie's position internally is, then I shouldn't be spending time offering suggestions as to why he's engaging in the behavior he engages in. It's poor rhetoric, it's inconsistent, and it was just a mistake that I made. So in a never-before-seen Vosh special, we will actually be doing a redo. We're doing a reshoot. We're doing it again, folks. We got another reel of film. We brought it out. We've got it in the fucking. We're getting ready, comrades. Okay, we're gonna do that one again. Take 2. Now, hey, this comes with a set of responsibilities on your part, because I know for a fact, that I am going to be going over the PewDiePie video, and every 30 seconds, somebody in chat is going to type in all caps, "What the fuck, Vosh? You did this video yesterday. What? Am I in Crazy Town? Is this a Groundhog Day experience? Oh my god, the only way out is to kill myself." And that's how I'm responsible for suicide, okay? So you guys need to inform people. You guys need to let people know when they're confused in chat, okay? That's going to be your responsibility. That's not my responsibility. That's your responsibility. And see, now that I've preempted this, now I know that any... Vosh, there was another school shooting. Are you still pro-gun? Why would my position on guns be changed by a school shooting? Yeah, of course I'm still pro-gun. Wait, what? Oh yeah, I'm pro-gun. I recognize the consequences of being pro-gun, and I recognize that that tens of thousands of people died of gun-related injuries every year, but I nonetheless accept the consequence. Oh shit, a school shooting where a person died? Oh no. Oh god, yeah, like, no, wait, what? No, of course not. I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm not, you know, I'm not like delegitimizing the severity of that shit. It's bad, but, you know. Oh, I know Mega Drive, but that plus the bot campaign that's been going on, that plus the fact that there seems to be evidence that America already was interested in a coup in Bolivia prior to the fourth election of Evo Morales. It's all coming together. It's all coming together, my friends. It's coming together. Oh yeah, now we've got a, no wait, no, god damn it, hyena. Now people are going to spam that. Don't add, don't add commands. All right. Only for now? Yeah, okay, sure. This is literally just going to be the stream now. All right. All right, nope. Fuck you guys. Piece of shit. We'll add it later. All right. Oh god. Okay, folks. We've got a wonderful itinerary lined up for us today. But you know what? Let's not waste any fucking time. Let's get right into it, okay? And then we can fuck around a little bit. There's lots of stuff I want to talk about. We got some wonderful content to cover. I gotta enter the zone first. Let me just... Alright, I'm ready to enter the zone. Why is outside so loud? Why is the window open? Jesus, no wonder it's so loud. Guess it cooled the room down a little bit. And of course, I'll go over donos after. My friends, hello. So PewDiePie posted a video, and it's more like a documentary, actually. Normally his videos are like, you know, he's got like the memes, PewDiePie, but this is more of like a kind of serious mini documentary, and that's cool. You'd have to be living under a rock to not be aware of the controversies that have surrounded PewDiePie over the past like 2 years or so, you know, from the infamous like bridge incident to the Holocaust Memorial and the Christchurch shooting and the ADL thing. He's got like this a long laundry list of I guess controversial events tied to his name. And a lot of people have given him shit for that, myself included. But I wanted to talk about this video that he put out because I have a lot of problems with it. And I've already watched it once. In fact, I've already watched it once on stream. But I felt like I didn't do a great job expressing my thoughts on it. So I'm doing it again on stream and subjecting my loyal viewers to the same content twice. But that's okay, you know? Fuck them. So I've been critical of PewDiePie in the past, but I want to be clear about something. And that's that I don't actually care what PewDiePie thinks or believes or is. You can never really know what a person thinks. You can never really know because they could be lying to you. I call myself far left, you know, like an anarchist and stuff or a socialist or whatever. And I mean, I am those things, but you don't really know that. Nobody can really know that. It could be some elaborate ruse. I could be an Amish fundamentalist monarchist, for all you know. I don't know. It's entirely possible. You have no idea. I could be just an incredible liar and a very strange person at that. My goal isn't to talk about PewDiePie himself, but rather to talk about the video that he made, how I believe it can be harmful. And when I say harmful, I want to be really specific, okay? I don't mean the video is going to like jump out of the screen and hurt anyone, to my knowledge. What I mean is that some of the messaging in the video, I think, kind of, sort of gives off an interpretation of the world that is beneficial to the interests of certain far-right groups. And if you like those far right groups, like neo-Nazis or fascists or whatever, if you're in favor of like the genocide, ethno-state, like race mixing is degeneracy, no gay people, no black people. If you're a fan of all of that, then okay, that's great, good, cool. Then this video is not for you. But if you're not a fan of those things, then I would encourage you, I think, just to listen to a perspective on this. Because I don't think like Pewd is doing this intentionally necessarily. And again, I don't even care if he is. But the fact that it's happening anyway is a bit of a problem, in my opinion. So let's hit this up. Let's do it. Let's get to the PewDiePie. That's good, right? Do you like that when I do that? Okay, here, let's.
Quick question. Which one of these is a hate symbol?
I know this one. I've already watched the video.
A, the bull haircut.
The bull haircut.
B, the number 12.
12.
Or C,
the okay
the
sign.
okay hand sign.
I know the answer to this one. He's going to say all three. But I said originally C, so that's one we go with again. But he's going to say all of them.
The answer is, of course, all of them. Let's go through some more examples.
Lesson to the kids. That's why cheating in school is good. It helps you with the answers.
Hey, remember this guy?
I'm really, really sorry. I'm trying to stay consistent here. I'm really trying to stay consistent here. What is the name of the song? This song, I watched the video for the first time last night, and I heard it in my head. This is Jet Set Radio Future? From Jet Set Radio? Okay, I'll listen to it, because this beat fucking slaps, okay?
Hey, remember this guy? I've actually never showed him properly on my channel.
I remember him.
But most of you probably know it's Pepe the Frog.
Yeah.
Pepe the Frog was a booming meme from 2015 to 2016. Everyone loved this guy. From what started in just a pretty small comic book, was adopted by the internet to become the biggest meme of that time. Celebrities were posting him, and what made Pepe so popular was that he could be made into anything. And the fact that there were so many different versions of Pepe became a meme in itself.
I want to point out, by the way, and I think this is very important, just so all of us can deflate ourselves a little bit, Pepe is basically just the internet-savvy minion. Just so we all know, when we see the Facebook post by our great aunt, and it has like some post, and it's got like a minion next to it, that's basically what Pepe is. I know it hurts, but it's basically the same thing. It's completely true. Now, I find Pepe funnier because Pepes are more expressive and they don't have that obnoxious corporate tie. Also, they're a little bit less juvenile, but let's be real. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah, people are reading out. Yeah, it's basically the same thing, just so we all know.
Pepe practically became too popular, and versions of Pepe that should never have been made was created, which changed things a lot.
All right, here we go.
But they were all of them deceived.
Boomer reference.
Was made.
Oh my god, they're Nazis. I don't know why they're crabs instead of frogs. I guess crabs and frogs are both aquatic themed?
Urging racist ideology known as the alt-right.
Jr., for example, he put this image on his Instagram account. It's a meme of Pepe. And for those of you who don't know, Pepe is a white nationalist symbol.
Are essentially nihilists who do it for the lulz. Basically, that means for the heck of it.
Okay, I need to clarify something. I clarified it the first time I watched this video too. The Pepe is a fucking Zoomer-ass internet meme, which means that it is well beyond the reach of the mainstream media. The mainstream media does not know and will never know the intricacies of how Pepe was created and is used. They are not capable of it. That's just an old media thing. They can't do it. So I'm not saying I'm in favor of these fucking 45-year-old, 55-year-old multimillionaires sitting behind Anchor's desk talking about how, you know, and today reports came out that one of the shooters once liked a Twitter post that had a cartoon green frog known as Peep to the internet crowd. The Peep is known as a white nationalist symbol. Anyone who has seen their children engage with online content that includes one of these peeps shown here being sad should immediately report. Like, I'm not going for that angle or anything. The Pepe. The Pepe was originally just like this comic strip thing, and then it really blew up, like Felix said, and it kind of became ubiquitous. But it was always, at least after its sort of memification, associated with 4chan. I mean, of course, it's 4chan. Like, that's where you get it from. And the problem isn't necessarily so much a reflection of Pepe as it is 4chan. Because 2015, 2016, 4chan's demographics really changed. You want to talk about demographic change? Ooh, boy, let me tell you. It used to be that 4chan was known predominantly for B. Remember B? I guess it would be this for you guys because you're reversed because I'm looking into a camera. Remember B? The random board, that's what it was known for the epic, this is all, God, this is also 2011 now, for the epic troll fest, haha, new fag, haha, you know, like, that was what it was known for. Yeah, you guys remember, yeah, come on, anyone here who's, like, older than like, 20 should remember. I was all over 4chan back in high school. Like, I get it, you know? But 4chan was also really big for, like, its anime board, A, or its illustration board, I, or its gaming or traditional gaming board, GNTG, respectively. There was a really wide, I guess, diverse community on 4chan. But now, most of the traffic that goes to 4chan goes to a new board, or relatively new. It's not as old as the other ones. It's called Pull, politically incorrect. You probably know all of this already. But, I mean, let's just call the spade a spade, you know, facts over feels. Pull is basically a Nazi board. Politically incorrect. It was where the people who were so insufferably, degenerately conservative would go. Again, if you're into that shit, like, this vid's not for you. But most of what Pull is basically talking about, like, the inferiority of the Negroid, how Jews control the world, how women should shut their mouths and learn their place, and how gay people are degenerates who rape children. I can't even show you Pull. Like, I could pull it up on stream right now. There's a decent chance I would show something that would get me banned off YouTube, you know? Which would be an issue. Which would be a big old issue. Because then I wouldn't make my YouTube dollar. Whatever the case may be. Pull got big. It's got really fucking big. And it's basically a Nazi board. It was originally described as a containment board, but look how that's worked out. Now they're the biggest fucking board on 4chan. And Pepe began to be used pretty frequently there, as is, you know, synonymous with the culture of 4chan. And if Nazis are using Pepe, they're going to make Nazi Pepes. That's just how it goes. It's easy. It just works, you know? I just want to clarify this very important, how this transition happened. The Nazi Pepes didn't just emerge from people trolling, because people have put Nazi hats on every internet meme for as long as the internet has been around. The association between Pepe and white nationalism came specifically because a large group of white nationalists used it. So it's not just trolling. I'm sure some of the people there are trolling, but I mean, there are people who go there like every day, 6 hours a day to talk about the black skull shape. I mean, these people aren't joking. Like they believe this. You're a fool if you think those are all memes. I just want to clarify how that sort of, you know, kicked off. But please, Felix.
Racist, anti-Semitic, and overall just offensive Pepe memes were spread across the internet.
True.
And the future of Pepe looked bleak.
True.
But there were some who resisted.
Boomer meme.
Some people fought back.
You gotta use the Hobbit now.
A movement called #SavePepe was created by Matt Fury, Pepe's creator, to try and bring Pepe back to something positive. The internet tried to help, even ADL tried to help, but it was too late. Pepe was declared dead by Matt Fury, and in one of his comic strips, we see Pepe for the last time. This, of course, hasn't stopped Pepe from being used.
I just want to clarify, by the way, what PewDiePie just said is correct. I keep calling PewDiePie Felix. I guess I should say Felix because I'm referring to him as a person and not the content creator. I have no fucking idea. Whatever the case may be, the creator of Pepe did try to create a campaign to like save Pepe. Just to clarify, he wasn't trying to save Pepe from like negativity. He was trying to save Pepe as an icon from neo-Nazis. Just to clarify, not from like trolling or being mean or being hateful on its own or anything, just to save it from Nazism, fascism, white nationalism, white supremacy, so on and so forth. Like that's what he was trying to pull it from, you know? And like Godspeed again. Can I get my frog roll call? Can we show the people of this future YouTube video how much we love our funny frogmen? Can I see it? Pull it out, folks. That's what I want. Oh, look at all these funny frogmen. Beautiful. Beautiful. Listen, we all have love, okay? We all have love for our beautiful green frog friend, okay? There's no hatred in our hearts here. Look at that. Beautiful. Phenomenal. How do I make a frogman? You'll learn one day. Nunamir. Beautiful. Now, anyway, I'm just pointing out, like, no hatred towards the symbol or anything.
By normal people or people with bad intentions. But Matt did what he had to do to distance himself from what it had become.
This is one of the first problems that I have with Felix's video here. Felix keeps saying stuff like, to make Pepe a symbol of positivity, or to save it from bad intentions. But since we're kind of talking about hate symbols in this video, we're talking about how symbols have been used and co-opted by like Nazi groups in this video. It's a little bit strange that Felix seems unwilling to specifically identify the things that we're referring to. Earlier he said racist and anti-Semitic, but I think for the entirety of the video, that's literally all he does to specifically identify the ideologies that are tied up in the hate he's describing here, which is a little weird, right? I mean, if you're doing like a nearly 10-minute documentary on hate symbols, it kind of makes sense to describe the hate you're referring to. So that's my issue number one. It feels like he's not mentioning it a lot, which is an issue because it could give people the impression when watching this video that this was all just kind of like a trolling thing, you know? Just people being kind of like goofy and silly on the internet. And that becomes an issue when you talk about how much real-life harm symbols like this have been used for, which we're gonna get to.
It's a kind of sad story how hate triumphs, but Matt is still trying to save Pepe. If you want, you can check out a Kickstarter link in the description. Either way, people were ready to move on. But from the ashes of Pepe came something far worse.
You have to use the Hobbit now. Time moves on.
Photo from the White House causing controversy today. The photo shows President Trump posing with White House interns. At the president's request, all the young men and women give his thumbs up signature. But look at the intern in the back row. He's making a hand gesture that's quite different than any of the others. To some, it appears to symbolize white power. The white power signal is made with the right hand and outstretched fingers that make a W and P as in white power.
Hold on, we're not seriously falling for this, are we?
Okay. All right. We got to take this serious now. Pewds? Okay, I'm going to let you go on for just a second more, but then I've got to jump in, okay?
The origin of the white power OK hand sign was quickly traced back to 4chan. The idea was to create another hate symbol like Pepe as a way to troll and to create political discourse.
All right, so now we've got a real issue here. So, again, I'm not trying to ascribe any intentions to Pewds over here, but, and I've talked about this before, how hate symbols work, okay? Look at this.
Some people like Pepe.
So, this was posted on, I assume, 4chan's politically incorrect board, the one I referred to earlier. We must flood Twitter and other social media websites with spam claiming that the OK hand sign is a symbol of white supremacy. Make fake accounts with basic white girl names and type shit like, oh my god, that's so true. Use as many emojis as you please, blah blah blah. Leftists have dug so deep down into their lunacy, we must force to dig more until the rest of society ain't going anywhere near that shit. So, I've talked about this before, and this is hard for some people to grasp, but this is very, very important, okay? Symbols are what we make them. That's symbology. Symbols mean what we choose them to mean. Like, we create the meaning. They don't have intrinsic meaning or anything like that. It's not like this jug of water. Like, this jug, I know what this jug of water does. It delivers me delicious hydration, okay? That's what it does. But symbols, this is up to interpretation. So for as long as I can remember, I have no idea what like the origin of the OK sign is. The OK sign literally just means things are okay. That's why it's called the OK sign. You get it? See, okay? See? It makes sense. It kind of looks like an OK, right? You're looking at it reversed right now because you're on the cam, but you got the O, and this is maybe there's a K somewhere here, right? You know? The problem is that Felix refers to this as something people do to troll. But you can't really troll with the symbols, because if white nationalists or white supremacists or Nazis or whatever start actually using those symbols to identify themselves, then it's not trolling anymore. Then it actually is a hate symbol. That's how it works. If a bunch of neo-Nazis get together and they all have like a little buddy-buddy meeting, you know, they're all just, chatting up and whatever, and they're like, hey, what if we make the double gun sign a Nazi symbol? And anytime we'll do this. This is the super Nazi symbol, not just regular Nazis. This is the super Nazi symbol, okay? We do this, you know? And then a few of these people like get arrested because they bashed some granny's head in or whatever. They do this in their court pictures, or they'll do this publicly, or people online will start like posting pictures of themselves doing this, and then you look at their Twitter like history and it's full of like Holocaust denial. It's not actually a joke anymore. They just made it that symbol. Now, the reason people do symbols like that, where it's like really ambiguous and you don't know if someone's just like, what? Maybe somebody's just doing this, like what the fucking whatever. Maybe someone's just throwing the OK sign up. People do that shit all the time. Don't divers do that a lot? I used to go scuba diving. That's how you indicate that you're okay. You do the OK sign, you know? Are all these people white supremacists? No, of course not. Don't be fucking stupid. I'm not accusing you of being stupid. I'm to the imaginary audience. But the issue is, when there's ambiguity over the use of those symbols, it becomes a dog whistle. The point of a dog whistle is, well, exactly the same point that an actual real-life physical dog whistle is. It's a signal that's supposed to be heard by some people, but not by others. So, when neo-Nazis do this to each other, like to one another, they know what they're doing. And when neo-Nazis do this in public, well, some people know what they're doing, and most people probably think they're just throwing up the OK sign. And some people don't know, because it's really hard to tell sometimes. Like, look at this. Like, and I mentioned this the first time I went over this video, but this remains very strange to me. Look at this man right here. This is a man in a crowd of like 100 people that have all been asked to give the same hand sign. The thumbs up. And every single person here is doing it. You see? Like 100 I don't know how many. I'm not fucking counting. And exactly one person isn't doing it. And it's an intern. He's not smiling. He's dead staring at the camera with a very visible, very explicit hand gesture, calling attention to his hand. And it is a symbol which has been traced publicly to white nationalist advocacy. Now, does that make him a neo-Nazi? Well, no, I can't. I mean, I don't fucking know the guy. I have no fucking idea. But Trump has had people in his cabinet who are white supremacists, like Steve Bannon and the like. Trump is supported by white supremacists. He got the racist vote in this country. I mean, that's just a fact. He got the support of the KKK. He got the endorsement of David Duke, you know. I'm not saying if you like Trump, you're a racist, but if you're a racist, there's a decent odds you either like Trump or don't like Trump because he didn't go far enough. And in that climate, to have this, that's just a little strange, don't you think? This is for like a big photo op too, right? Like the fucking president is there, is he not? Yeah, that's the Donster right there. And in this photo, of all photos, somebody flashes a symbol associated with white nationalism, which is already associated with Donald Trump's campaign. He does it in a very visible sense, and he does it when everyone else has been explicitly told to give a different symbol. PewDiePie kind of treats this like it's silly, like he includes this as just some like random example of the media being crazy and hyperbolic and stuff. I don't know if that's hyperbolic. I don't know if that's... I don't know. This is actually pretty suspect. I'm not saying he should like instantly lose his job or whatever, but I think people should be concerned of the possibility, the very real possibility, that someone is in this photo and a white supremacist, an avowed one, signaling to other white supremacists, yeah, here we are in the White House. That's an issue. And I think people would recognize easily that that's a problem if this was some historical photo. Like imagine if this was some historical photo of like the Weimar Republic back in like 1921 or something, and there was like a council meeting, you know what I mean? And someone and like everyone over there is like they're all giving like a little howdy do to the camera, like the old-timey flash, like the phosphorus cameras that they used back then or whatever. And then one of the person is just like casually showing off like an armband with like the swastika, which at the time, by the way, not really associated with much negative stuff, or I don't know, doing a little Sikh Heil. I don't know, maybe not a perfect comparison, but I think if you look at it through the lens of history, you recognize like, oof, ouch, owie, you know, like, oh, ooh, I don't know, I don't like that. But now, because it's today and because it's covered by a bunch of dumb fuck boomer media personalities, then we just kind of gloss it over? I don't know. Whatever, Pewds, take it away.
And to create political discourse. Some people took the bait, obviously. But it was also at this time that the circle game...
The way he describes it too, take the bait. I mean, it's not taking the bait if there are actual white supremacists using the symbol. Like that's not taking the bait. At that point, you're just identifying the existence of a symbol that is being used to signify white supremacy.
It was again becoming popular online.
You looked. Ow!
Malcolm in the Middle is a good show. Watch that shit.
Oh, I love it!
Do you?
I do!
Why don't you show everybody what you got?
We're doing this new thing called the circle game.
The basic gist of the game is haha made you look while making the OK sign underneath your waist. People mock just how stupid the idea was.
Again, I just want to point out, nobody believes that every person who throws up the OK sign is a white supremacist. That's kind of what's being implied here. See, like, nobody actually believes this. This is just an example, I think, of people like hyperbolizing the opposition's interests. Nobody actually believes. I mean, look, wait, I can give an example right here. Wait, check it out. Watch this. Here we go. To be sorted. Desktop, my ambitions, stream assets, stream art assets, and then here we go. Look, I showed this before, but look, I also I drew myself. This is exactly what I look like. Don't shame. I drew myself doing the circle game below the waist. That's the rule for the game in Malcolm in the Middle. If you do this below your waist, then you get to punch the other person. You know? So I'm not some like crazy dogmatic weirdo insisting that everyone who ever used this symbol is a white supremacist. Nobody is saying that. And anyone who is saying that, because there are probably some people saying that, like I'm not saying literally no one. I mean, nobody important is saying that every person who ever throws up the OK sign is a white nationalist. That's a bad take, obviously. But it's also a bad take to say that all of this is just trolling and there's no like actual real problems here, you know? There's no actual association. Let me give you an example. So this one I think is pretty relevant to the video that PewDiePie is made here, and he never mentions it once, which is a little weird. Some of you might be familiar with this picture. The man with the blurred face in the center killed 50 Muslims at Christchurch. He did so after saying on a Facebook live stream, "Subscribe to PewDiePie." Do you think this is like a... Do you think he's playing the circle game down here? Do you think he's trying to make everyone who read the news article have to be punched by him if he ever gets out of here? PewDiePie never includes this in his video. It's an example of a terrorist, a white supremacist terrorist, who believed in multiple neo-Nazi conspiracy theories, not only throwing up the OK sign, but doing so after shouting "subscribe to PewDiePie." I mean, this was tied to PewDiePie, and he never mentions it in this video. I understand why he wouldn't want to retread stuff that's probably like painful for him, and I imagine it really fucking sucks to be associated with a literal human monster like this. But like, man, trying to play off the OK sign thing is just like a prank people fell for. When a terrorist who shouted your name before killing 100 people threw it up in front of the court cameras? That's just really strange to me. That's just really fucking weird to me, Felix. I don't know. I think that just playing this off like a joke in this documentary he's made is harmful. I think it's very deliberately harmful. And I can say that with some confidence because, and again, I'm not ascribing any intention to PewDiePie here. This is kind of what the people who use the OK symbol unironically want. They want you to think it's all just a meme, all just a joke. Don't worry about it. You're hyperbolic. You're oversensitive. You're delusional. There's nothing here. Because that makes it easier for them to dog whistle. And it makes it easier for them to grow without facing significant public opposition. Because people are underestimating them. And I think that's what PewDiePie is doing here. He's underestimating them. Or at the very least, he's disseminating information which would lead other people to underestimate them. Which is, I think, even worse of an issue.
Some used it as an opportunity to provoke, but it was obvious it was another Pepe, and this time there was solid proof that it was a troll operation.
Again, wait. PewDiePie just said it was another Pepe, but earlier in the video he acknowledged that Pepe was actually being used by far-right groups. But now he's saying it's a troll. That's a little bit weird. Earlier he specifically said that there was actual hate associated with the Pepe. But now he's saying that just like Pepe, this is just another troll. And what he's showing here, by the way, isn't a troll. This is called a psyop. When people who are actual white supremacists work collectively to spread lies and misinformation that benefit their movement, that's not trolling, it's a psyop, and it's a political tactic people use to gain power. Calling this trolling is to force a level of frivolity onto it, which is incredibly unwarranted.
So, people did the responsible thing this time and declared the OK sign wasn't a hate symbol.
We can verify tonight that the claim the OK sign is a hate symbol is false.
Just pointing out, you can't just objectively determine whether or not something is a hate symbol. It doesn't actually work like that. Symbols are how they're used. You can't just like, well, no. There we go. We've determined objectively what the symbol means to everyone else. Congratulations.
But it's never really that easy.
I mean, for his background.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
Weather, the forecast track of the storm, we've actually started.
This song also slaps. What is this from?
To reposition assets closer to the.
조합 같은 거나 새로운 전략을 좀 많이 짰.
Doing the OK hand gesture is not okay. Blizzard was right to ban it.
Just doing it regular, and as I was looking at the camera, he started to put the universal white supremacist hate sign on her shoulder.
So I just want to point out, by the way, this is exactly what, I'm not ascribing anything to PewDiePie here, but this is exactly what far-right people do when they're trying to downplay their movement. It's that they'll show a bunch of hyperbolic, frivolous, hysterical news media segments of them overreacting to seemingly innocuous events and use this as a bludgeon to paint the entire a condemnation of that symbol as meaningless or frivolous. Do you remember that? I mean, you've seen that happen before, haven't you? Like, this is what conservatives do too. They'll be like, you do like the scary announcement. The scary announcement will be like, oh yeah, you know, like it'll be a picture of like a conservative, like outside having a snowball fight, and then scary music will play while a bunch of headlines from actual like scientific organizations roll across the screen, talking about how we only have so and so much time before our planet is reduced to a inhospitable ball of CO2, you know? And it's exactly the same mentality. You don't make any arguments. You just dismiss the entire point by providing, I guess, examples that seem frivolous when overlaid with silly music. That's basically it, you know, like having a little snowball fight. Earth only has 12 years. Ha ha ha, snowball hits the face. You know, like the implication is obvious. But it's deeply dishonest. I mean, you're not really making any arguments here. It's the mainstream media. Of course, the mainstream media is going to have some dumb fuck, hyperbolic, frivolous, unnecessary takes on issues. They're going to blow things up. They're sensationalist. That's how capitalism works. That's just how it works. Same with Twitter, you know, likes and follows and stuff. But that doesn't mean this entire thing is meaningless. And some of the examples Pewds is rolling through here, I think have a little bit more ground to them than he might be implying with this little montage.
Has been hot.
The incident happened while former Cub Doug Glanville was on the air for NBC Sports Chicago. A man seated behind him flashed an upside-down OK gesture, which is said to be a symbol of white power. The broadcast cut to a graphic with stats, but the gesture was seen for several seconds. The Cubs actively working to track down that person who made that gesture.
So again, like, what is this meant to prove? No, like, we don't know the specifics of any of the examples that were provided there. Some of them are probably pretty silly. Like, for example, that one at the sports one we just saw, that one's probably pretty silly. Working to track down a fan because they threw up that, like, nah, that's pretty fucking dumb. But like, again, I deal with politics in my day-to-day. Like, that's literally my job. I interact with a fair number of far-right people. Again, it's just part of my work. These people use the OK sign. It's not you're not trolling when you're ironically using the OK sign, but you're actually unironically a Nazi. Like, that's not how irony works. You're just unironically using the OK sign with a little with a little wink and a nudge. That's just how dog whistles work. It's simple. And dog whistles, thankfully, are only used when the political group that uses them is in a stage where they can't openly, vocally express their political opinions. A lot of the people who are doing this would much rather be saying, we need to secure a future for the white race and for white children. Or a lot of people who are, you know, haha, on social media spamming the honkler clown with the OK symbols, clown world shit, would much rather be saying that the white race is being subjected to systemic ethnic displacement on account of Jews bringing in people from the third world. Like, a lot of people who have 1488 in their profile and joke about 14 out of 88 blanks being completed would much rather be talking about the natural inferiority of the negroid and how their skull shape precludes them from having a higher level of creativity than the white man. That's why it's a dog whistle. And again, I'm not saying that these people are like living under your bed or anything, but they're out there. They've been out there for like a century. It's not like the concept of people like this isn't exactly new, you know? Like, this is just this is just the far right. That's just what the far right is like. And if you're in favor of those things, I don't know why you made it this far into the video, but if you're not, you should be worried about pieces of media that downplay the symbology these people use to quietly express and signify their power levels. Like this one. That should be an issue to you. Hey, Felix.
Hello.
Looking
it's
cute
me,
as always.
Tired of editing this video. I keep saying the argument that, well, the swastika was taken by the Nazis, so symbols do change meaning. Like, it used to mean the sun or whatever. It came from Buddhism, so yeah, even if the OK symbol used to mean OK, these things change. The validity of its changed meaning is pointed towards white supremacists now actually using it. But of course they're gonna use it. Unlike other hate symbols, this was given to them.
Okay, so right now, he just admits, he just said it, that white supremacists use this symbol. So, there we go. It's not like white supremacists use this symbol to give each other the okay. They use this symbol to signify their white supremacy. I don't know what he means by given to them. I mean, they're the ones who made it a dog whistle for themselves, but let's see.
Stop making it so easy for these people.
What?
Like, white supremacists have used the sign. Why the hell wouldn't they?
What?
The problem with these hate...
Wait, what does that mean? Wait, white supremacists use this sign, why wouldn't they? Wait. What does that mean? Wait, it's other people's fault that white supremacists went onto a white supremacist forum and decided collectively to use that as a white supremacist hate symbol? What? That's just really weird. Like, why are we getting the flack for that? If the implication here is that the media is giving it power by reporting on it, that's exactly what Nazis want you to believe. That by covering them, by giving them attention, by exposing what they're doing, you're only giving them more power. But in fact, the opposite has always been true. The more attention, the more scrutiny that's thrown onto these groups, the less likely they are to achieve any type of mainstream credibility. That's why they dog whistle, because they don't want the attention. They want to signify their political interest to other groups of people without drawing that attention. And when you give them that attention, sometimes there's stupid backlash, like when the media goes too far and we're hunting down the person who threw up the OK symbol at the football game. Of course, that's stupid. But the fact that they're dog whistling means that they don't want the attention. Giving it to them is beneficial. What would you do otherwise? Just let them take over symbols willy-nilly? Let them signal to one another, and any time you complained about it, you're reminded, chastised? That you're only giving them what they want? That's not what they want. They don't want quote-unquote normies being aware of what their symbology means. They want to be able to sneak into people's lives and slowly red pill them with based Nazi ideology. And they can only do that if there's a presumed innocence to begin with. This is what I mean when I said that this video kinda sort of plays into the interests of the far right. I don't know if PewDiePie is doing it intentionally or not, but this is really strange, and this kind of mirrors the sentiments that I sometimes see expressed by people who I know to be Nazis who are pretending not to be Nazis. I see them on Twitter. They've usually got like a Honkler or Groiper avatar, and they'll talk about how there are no more Nazis and about how everyone else is delusional for seeing Nazis everywhere, like we're a madman swiping at ghosts, you know? And then I check their profile, and it's full of Holocaust denial and unironic like pictures of like white women in poppy fields with captions on how the white race needs to survive the Negroid menace. Like that's what they want you to believe. When Nazis show you what they want, they're also showing you what they're afraid of. What they want is for people not to pay attention to them, to not recognize their symbols. What they're afraid of is people knowing what they're doing.
Hate symbols is that there's people who like to demonize other people, and there's people that like to troll. And these
I also want to point this out because I mentioned this in the original video too. So the way that he's framing this as a dichotomy between people who troll and like Twitter check marks, when he already acknowledged that white supremacists use these symbols, is really weird. Why is he downplaying people he's already acknowledged are white supremacists by calling them trolls, right? Like, most epic troll of when was this? 2017, 2018? Right? Also, the symbol that he's used right here, I don't know if he's aware of this, you know? I don't know how internet familiar PewDiePie is, but that groiper, it's called a groiper, the one on the left, the rather fat, smug-looking Pepe, is a explicitly Nazi-associated symbol. It's currently being used by a member of the alt-right called Nick Fuentes, who believes that race mixing is degenerate and the Holocaust didn't happen. And it's associated pretty much exclusively with him. You can find this out by going on google.com, groiper, know your meme. You see, this isn't some super top secret piece of information that only savvy 4chan veterans would know. All you have to do is type in, groiper, know your meme. Let's see. Refers to an exploitable illustration of Pepe the Frog resting his chin, variations of which are commonly used as profile avatars among the alt-right and the new right on Twitter, and the alternative social networking service WrongThink. Additionally, Groypers, also known as the Groyper Army, is the name of a group of far-right and alt-right nationalists and conservatives, critical of the mainstream conservatism and led by political commentator Nicholas J. Fuentes, the aforementioned person. So, again, this isn't super secret information. You can just... This is the first paragraph of Groyper, and he includes it saying, like, people who like to demonize others and people who like to troll. The people who use that symbol aren't trolling, dude. They're actual neo-Nazis. Like, why are you downplaying that? I'm pretty sure you can literally just type Groyper and the know your meme. Yeah, the know your meme thing is literally the top result if you simply type in Groyper. And the first sentence of that article is on it being an alt-right symbol. That's it. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, is PewDiePie, like, deliberately downplaying Nazi symbols? Or is he accidentally doing it? Or does he think that just everyone is trolling and there's no such thing as real Nazis? In spite of the very real evidence that he should be familiar with, that there are in fact real Nazis out there who actually use these symbols and then go on to hurt other people. So, I mean, again, like, I don't know. It's really, really strange.
These two just play into each other perfectly. They both get exactly what they want from each other. One gets a reaction, the other gets an outrage.
And this is also the lie that Nazis say. Nazis say, haha, keep exposing what we do and commenting on what we do and pointing out our hate symbols. It only makes us stronger. Ha, keep attempting to deplatform us. It only makes us stronger. And then they get weaker. That's why they dog whistle. That's what they want you to think. This isn't conspiratorial. This is literally how it works.
And then you have normal people in between who's not even playing this game that gets caught up in it. I'm not saying that anyone that gets mad over someone using this sign is part of some outrage mob, but there is a clear culture around getting upset. It's false virtue rewarded with likes. We're basically training ourselves to act like this.
And he's spending a lot of time critiquing the people who are mad about, again, to be fair, neo-Nazis using symbols to express their neo-Nazi alignment. And he's spending essentially no time or placing no burden of responsibility on the people who are actually neo-Nazis. For all I know, he thinks they're trolling. They're just trolls, apparently. It's all just a joke. So, like, that's kind of a weird dichotomy, to make a video on hate symbols and then use it to rail against people pointing out the existence of hate symbols while systemically delegitimizing the existence and threat those hate symbols actually pose and framing neo-Nazis as just trolls. That's a little bit strange.
And to be clear, I don't think spamming the OK sign, hey look, are you mad now? And like, that's not helping either, obviously. If you look in the instances that I showed, logically, the evidence that they are signaling white power is so incredibly weak, but it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, because you chose those examples from the news to look as frivolous as possible and ignored certain examples that somebody who's a little bit more honest than you might have chose to put in. Like, yeah, no shit. You're the one who chose those videos, Felix. But you could have chose other examples that would have made it seem a little bit more prescient. And you didn't. And that's on you, not on the media.
They didn't. Try sitting like this. It is actually comfortable. Wait, what was her name again? I forgot. Fuck. Apparently, she's half Mexican, half Polish Jewish grandchild of a Holocaust survivor.
This is also a little bit weird. Apparently, some lady was sitting like this or something. I don't know who it is, and I don't care. I don't know why we're talking about her ethnicity as though that has anything to do with what political opinions she might have. I'll tell you, I've met plenty of Nazis who have chidedly smirked at me and said, they can't be a Nazi, they're 1/4 Italian or 1/4 Spanish or something. And it's a lie, of course. It's dishonest. You can be a Nazi regardless of your skin color or religion. Believe it or not, historically, there are Nazis all over the place. I don't know if this bitch is a Nazi or not. I have no fucking idea. And I don't care. Like, even slightly. It's just weird to me that he's pulling out this defense.
But she was accused of flashing the white power hand symbol. Circle game has been used in news media before. It's just a way to see, haha, got you all. Not.
You'll note, by the way, that when people play the circle game like gotcha thing, nobody accuses them of using this, using the OK sign as a white supremacist hate symbol. PewDiePie is making it sound as though anytime anyone ever throws up this at any time under any context, they're accused by the media of throwing out a hate symbol, which is simply not the case. That's the narrative that he's pushing.
Everyone is aware that it's been co-opted by a small group of people. And they shouldn't. No one should know these things.
Wait, that's weird. He said they shouldn't, which seemed at first like he was implying that white nationalists shouldn't use that symbol. But then he was saying we shouldn't know those things? My dude, Felix, the Nazis don't want you to know what dog whistles they use. That's the point of the dog whistles. Why are you saying people shouldn't be aware of the dog whistles that other groups use? That's the point of them. If you're not aware of them, then they can continue to use them without other people realizing what their ideology actually is. Do you want Nazis to get away with spreading and promoting their ideology without other people recognizing they're doing so? Because that is the inevitable consequence of what you were implying in this video.
The guy flashing the sign during the Blizzard footage stepped up, even though there was no reason for him to do so, and explained, yeah, that was me. I actually had no idea it had any other meaning. The most recent incident of this happening was the Gru costume at Warner Brothers that got fired because they discovered in their home video that he made the OK hand sign.
That's a little weird, by the way. I don't know, like, again, I don't know or care about this one specific incident that he has decided to focus on rather than the glaring and obvious examples of it being used as a white supremacist hate symbol. But this is like, if you're an adult and you're posing with a child and there's a media frenzy on this being used as a white supremacist hate symbol, and then you put that symbol on the shoulder of the black kid that you're taking a picture with, making sure it's visible in the camera frame, again, I don't know, but I feel like, but that's the thing with dog whistles, right? You don't know. But then PewDiePie goes on to defend it in a really weird way.
Even though the child is doing it this as well?
No, he's not. He's doing this. He's pointing with his pointer finger. What are you talking about, PewDiePie? Why is PewDiePie what is he? This is literally just a kid. This is what the kid is doing. The kid has his hands out, and one of his hands is here. It's reverse view. One of his hands is like this. He's got like this. This is what he's doing. Very normal hand. Like your hands just do this. The adult did this. This is not a natural hand gesture for any human being under any circumstances. And again, I'm not saying that doing this on a kid's shoulder instantly makes you a neo-Nazi. What I'm saying is that PewDiePie is downplaying that incident and making apologia for it in a really weird way. Why is he pointing out what the kid did?
Why the hell would someone symbol for white power in a private home video?
Because there's a real answer. Because white supremacists are deeply insecure people who get off on whatever tiny acts of power they can invoke over people they feel are inferior. That guy is literally a DreamWorks costume dude at a fucking theme park. He probably doesn't have much power in his life. Flashing a symbol of white supremacy over the shoulder of a black child is probably one of the few ways that person is able to get his rock off. Like, that's it. That's unironically the answer why. It doesn't always have to be some grand conspiracy. It's a symbol of white supremacy. You do it in front of a black kid. Congrats, you've cucked them. People photobomb all the time. Photobombing is like a proud tradition. And sometimes you do it in silly ways, and sometimes you do it to flex on the people taking the photo. That was photobombing. Like, what do you want? I don't know if he's a neo-Nazi. I don't know if it's just a ridiculous hand symbol that he coincidentally happened to form without knowing what the implications were. I just don't like how PewDiePie is downplaying it.
Who is he signaling to? The parents? By acting angry and upset over these things, you're giving validity to the symbol.
Well, no, you're not. They made the symbol what it is. If PewDiePie was right here, the best way to deal with neo-Nazis would be to ignore them and never acknowledge the symbols they use to spread hate. Which is, funnily enough, exactly what the neo-Nazis seem interested in doing, because they also claim that anyone who sees these symbols as hateful is delusional.
It's supposed to be a dog whistle. That's how this is defended. Oh, we need to know about these things.
Yes?
If it's a dog whistle, it's a goddamn megaphone. Everyone gets called out on it.
That's literally not a counter-argument. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not a dog whistle because everyone is getting called out in it. You're playing defense for it. If it wasn't a dog whistle, then it would just be them saying that they support a white ethno-state and the execution or deportation of non-whites. Then it wouldn't be a dog whistle. It is still a dog whistle because there are still people like you defending it. Because there are still people who do not know what's going on, who do not know what this symbol means or what the people who use it believe in.
On the one hand, it can control a response that they can deny, but it also can signal their support for white supremacist ideas.
So the argument is that you can use it and then just say, no, you're doing the okay sign. So we need to know about this so we can't allow white supremacists to dog whistle to each other. Well, congratulations, you're doing that.
How are we making white supremacists dog whistle to each other by recognizing that they are using it to dog whistle to each other? These arguments are actually incoherent. And I don't think that Felix is like a preposterously stupid man. I don't think he's like a 50 IQ retard or anything like that. He's done well for himself. So it's really strange to me that he's making, in a documentary that he made, in a documentary that he edited and put together and chose clips for, that he's making such bad arguments that all line up perfectly with what right-leaning people would want you to believe about dog whistles.
By accusing people that aren't white supremacists of being white supremacists, you are helping white supremacists. I think that's what annoys me so much about this whole thing. It's really not about what's the best outcome. And I think when we don't care about the outcome, that's when we really destroy ourselves. Here's what I need you to do. Don't get upset about the hand sign and don't spam it like, oh, I'm so epically trolling you.
Again, the dichotomy here is between the hysterical media and people who troll. He's downplaying. He's doing it again. He's downplaying the existence of people who legitimately use the symbol to spread hate. And I keep using this picture because this is such an obvious counter-argument to everything PewDiePie is saying here. You can't frame it as a troll when they're a white nationalist terrorist pulling it off in court. It's not a troll anymore, but he's framing it as one. Just like the Groiper is a troll. Just like all of this is a joke. Just like you're giving them the attention that they crave when you pay attention to how they use their hate symbols.
Oh God. Oh no, the thumb of one race.
Shut up. Anyway, I like, by the way, that the video itself is called "The Bro Fist is declared a hate symbol, this is bad," when nothing in the video has anything to do with the bro fist being a hate symbol. Like, the video, not only is it clickbait, it's actually factually dishonest. If somebody were just to see the title but not actually watch the video, they might believe that the SPLC or the ADL or something actually declared the bro fist as a hate symbol. Which is what I believed when I saw the title before watching the video. I thought I was about to have to say, okay, listen, I disagree with some of the things PewDiePie does, but I don't think the bro fist is a hate symbol. But the video had nothing to do with that. It's funny because the video is about him hyperbolizing the frivolity of media coverage of hate symbols, when his title is itself hyperbolizing the extent to which the media does so. The reason why this is a problem for me is because this now has nearly 5 million views. A lot of those people are probably from less politically interested, less politically inclined demographics who don't know that much about dog whistles or how symbols are used. And it's really, really weird to me that somebody who has such a large audience, particularly a young audience like Felix, is producing videos like this, which, let me be perfectly clear, are representing the positions neo-Nazis want represented because it assists in their political radicalization. I'm not saying he's doing it deliberately, even though he was doing some real stupid fucking picking and choosing with the media clips that he used later on in the video, even though he was playing defense for a lot of those clips, even though he was taking symbols that are clearly associated with the far right and playing them off as trolling. I don't know why somebody would make this video if not to signal support for the far right, because that's what this video was. And now there are probably over 1 million impressionable apolitical people who think there's no harm whatsoever to these symbols, that there's no sincerity behind them, it's all just trolling and the media is crazy and hyperbolic and everything else the Nazis want you to believe, because that's the reason they dog whistle. I don't know why anyone else, I don't know why a person would make the video otherwise. I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. It's really, really strange. It's very, very strange. And again, if you like Nazi shit, cool, have fun. But if you don't, you have to recognize that the Nazis only lost because other people stood up to them. They don't just naturally fade off into the void. They don't just naturally dissipate. And whereas PewDiePie seems awfully interested in convincing people to not spend too much time thinking about or criticizing white nationalist dog whistles, I'm a little bit more interested in doing what is necessary to keep literal neo-Nazis from achieving any sort of political prominence in this country. I'm in America. I don't know about you. That I consider that a pretty noble endeavor, personally, actually, stopping Nazis. And if you want to stop Nazis, an excellent way to do so would be to pay attention to the symbols that they use. Don't go crazy hyperbole calling everyone who ever does this a neo-Nazi, but learn about the symbols they use, recognize them, and call people out when they're clearly using them to dog whistle. For example, if somebody says, "Hey, I like your outfit today," that's probably okay. That's probably all right, you know? I'm okay with that. I wouldn't have an issue with that. But if somebody says, "America provides far too much foreign aid to Israel, those clowns won't be controlling our government for much longer," well, it doesn't hurt to think about it. And cut. There. That was much better. That was a much better take. Cut. Cut. We did it. That's a wrap, folks. There we go. I think we can all agree that was a lot better than the first one. No, I'm not arguing with Felix defenders again. Are you kidding me? That's all good. Vosh is very authoritarian left? Who are these people in my fucking YouTube chat? Jesus Christ. Didn't you already do this yesterday? No. What are you talking about? Why does it feel like my my webcam is so high up? Hold on. For some reason, my webcam settings change every time I reopen OBS. It's really fucking obnoxious. No. There we go. That's better. That's better. Let me go over some donations, huh? That sounds like a fun thing to do. Are you guys excited for donations? I'm excited for donations because that's how I make my money and pay my rent and stuff. Which I consider to be a pretty important part of, you know, pretty important part of what I do. What did you dislike about the last take? The last take I opened by, saying I didn't actually care what PewDiePie personally believed in. But then I spent the rest of the video talking about how the only explanation for his behavior would be that he has far-right sympathies. Very stupid of me. So I fixed that. It's better now. Now Blair is trying to claim she's not NB-phobic. Responding to Blair White is transphobic, lol. Wait, is this going to mention me?
Oh hey, welcome back to my channel. So do you ever feel like, you know, while you support trans people and you want everyone to have equal rights, obviously, that some of your opinions, and that's okay, and that's not bad. Why do people only get upset? It's trans people who can't afford the surgery they've had when?
Is this literally just her responding to Twitter? Nah, fucking boring. I'll make fun of her later. Thank you, Chicken God 37. I'll make fun of her later. Listen, there's always time in the day to shit on Blair White, okay? Always time in the day to shit on Blair White. Anyway, La Seven Luminosa, thank you so much for the $10, comrade. I really appreciate it. Gorgaton with the tier 1 sub. Vosh giving me the anarcho cummies. It's true, I do. Thank you. And Jam1NB3N with the... Jammin' Ben with the tier 1 sub. Discovered your channel 2 weeks ago. Been too busy with work to catch a stream before now. Keep up the good work, comrade. Thank you, comrade. I hope work is going well for you, and I'm delighted you had the opportunity to stop by. Posadas John with the $1 in all caps. What the fuck, Vosh? You already did this video yesterday. Are we in Crazy Town? Is this a Groundhog Day? Oh my god, I'm going to kill myself. It's the only way out. Well, rest in peace, Posadas John. You are a wonderful source of entertainment and income. I love you very much, and I hope that your soul finds peace in the afterlife. Nahaima with the tier 1 sub. Vosh said for good subs to donate, so I like a good sub I obey. Good, good. Exactly. That's what I want. Thank you. The Pi 314 man with the incredibly generous $69. That's the sex number. That's the sex number. $69. That's the number people do sex with. That's fucking hot, dude. Oh my god, I'm tearing up. Actually, I had an eyelash in my eye. Thank you so much, comrade. That is incredibly generous of you, and I really fucking appreciate it. Thank you. Just wanted to flex on the donators. Otherwise, keep up the good work. P.S. T-Series is superior to PewDiePie. I don't know. I don't even know what T-Series does. Aren't they just a media channel that's based in India? T-Series is cringe? Oh, okay. Well, now I know. Thank you again, the Pie Man. Jointertron with the $5. Hey Vosh, love your streams. I started watching you a few months ago and your channel had a lot to do with me feeling welcome in the left again. Thinking about opening a guillotine making shop. As long as they're novelty miniature guillotines, because remember, comrade, political violence is wrong. All the time. But I'm delighted to hear that I've made you feel included in the left again. As should we all. Spectre with the tier 2 subscription. What the fuck, Vosh? You did this video yesterday. What? Am I in Crazy Town? Is this a Groundhog Day experience? Oh my god, the only way out is to kill myself. Also, I love your streams. Trans rights. Trans rights to you too, comrade. Thank you very much. Enjoy your fancy pants dark orange name while it's around, okay? Hey, camera, fuck off. I'm getting my new DSLR in a few days. Camera, don't make me go manual. Don't make me go manual. That's what I thought. Those are some long nails? These aren't long nails. What the fuck are you talking about? These are like a millimeter at most? I mean, they're due for a trim, but these are not long, all caps nails. Jesus. Yes, they are? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Well, I don't compensate for my incumbent fucking terminal virginity by fastidiously making sure my nails are all the exact same length at all times. My apologies. I'm busy actually doing things and living life and eating fat fucking sour cream packed burritos to be making sure that all of my millimeter long nails are all appropriately length. My fucking apologies, okay? Jesus Christ. I can just imagine all of you fucking squatting over your sink, clipping your nail. This'll get Stacy. This'll get Stacy to pay attention. Fuck off. Get me out of here. Oh, God. And Nikesh Patel with the $5. Thanks for keeping me alive at work. My pleasure, comrade. I love you too. Violent Vegan with the €2. By the way, that crab conveyor belt is seriously sadistic. Yeah, I don't know if they're alive when that happens, but that seems kind of fucked up. I don't know. I can't talk, though. I'm not a vegan, right? Warlord 007 with the very generous $10. Thank you. Love from Alabama. Will you yee my haw, partner? Only if you'll haw my yee. Thank you. That's very kind of you to offer. Rarely does one offer to yee my haw. Oh, shit. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, hold on, we'll get to you. Misui with the tier 1 sub. Forgot to re-up sub again, here you go. I'm enjoying the gritty reboot of yesterday's video. Well wishes. Thank you, comrade. I would actually say it's a slightly less gritty reboot of the previous video. And J Showa O with the $169. That's an even bigger sex number. Even larger. With an appropriately concerning message to tag along. Vosh, should I drink bleach? Jay Showa O, I've got 3 messages for you. 1, I love you deeply, personally, and intimately. Don't get attached. Second of all, I am overwhelmingly appreciative of your donation. It really, really, really does honor me, and I am incredibly thankful. Thank you so much. And third, you should not drink bleach. I've never tried it myself, but from what I've read and heard online, it seems like drinking bleach is actually very unhealthy. It damages the intestinal linings on the inside. So I don't know if you were just interested in the flavor, but I've heard it's very unhealthy and you should avoid it, okay? Take care of yourself, comrade. Just like you've taken care of me. Thank you. Jointertron with the $5. My town are all liberals, and I was shunned for being pro-gun and anti-state. It's nice to feel like I see eye to eye with people politically again. Thanks, comrades. Feels like I found a new home online. Aw, hell. Well, I'm delighted to be able to help you find such a community, to facilitate such a thing. That's very, very kind of you, and I'm genuinely delighted to hear you like it here. Fuck libs. Balthazar 228 with $5. Do people who told others to subscribe to PewDiePie during the T-Series sub-war deserve some blame as well, especially those big enough to know the controversy surrounding him like Markiplier? This is the problem for me, right? I mean, I actually like Markiplier. I think he's cute and funny. I mean, he does like obnoxious reaction, like kid channel stuff. But I like Markiplier. Yes, I do. Yes, I do think so. When larger public figures come out and do that, I blame them for that too. I have to. Markiplier is a huge public figure, and his endorsement of PewDiePie is, you know, is unfortunate. Of course, keep in mind that, like, there is an implicit coercion here. If Markiplier or other large content creators had said nothing about PewDiePie, or worse, had actively said not to sub to PewDiePie because of the controversy, they would have lost the drama wave for that would have been catastrophic. Like, we would have physically felt it. If Markiplier had released a video saying do not subscribe to PewDiePie, the resulting cataclysmic drama outpouring would have rocked the internet for weeks afterwards. So there is an implicit coercive element there, you know? Yeah, I do think Markiplier is a genuinely okay dude. I don't know anything about Jacksepticeye, like, not even close. Yeah, the internet would literally collapse. It would have been overwhelming. Oh, guys, just so you know, after this, we're going to be copying Pig Puncher and talking about facts over feels really quick, and then we're going to be talking about Chile, I think. Didn't Jacksepticeye minorly criticize Pewds once and get crazy backlash? I didn't know about the criticizing, but I mean, if he did so, then yeah, the backlash is to be expected. Yeah, Chappie, the length that my nails are at right now are perfectly functional. I can screw open or screw close nails without an issue, you know? I don't need any tools. I can weaponize them. Oh yeah, I'm going to be calling it Chili the entire time, by the way. But Vosh, can you finger blast? Yes, these are not so long that I can't finger blast. Anyway, Hideyoshi Lacan with the 279. You look sharp in dress shirts. Thanks, I like wearing them, even though the sleeves are a little tight on these. I don't know if it's because I started working out again or if because I'm fatter. It's probably a mixture of both. Gray Stairs with the $5, writing my uni speech. Couldn't have done it without you, so I'm paying you back in pizza money. I appreciate your existence. Good luck with your uni speech, comrade. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You're going to do great. 21st Century Socialist with a very generous 100 Swedish kronar. I think that people like Pewds, who I think is mostly an apolitical edgelord, has a mental dissonance and is unwilling to recognize how many trolls are actually fascists. I genuinely don't know. I don't know if he's just a, like, kind of a right-leaning edgelord dumbfuck who's just biased against, like, old media because he feels as though he's at war with them, so he'll take none of their concerns seriously, and he also thinks that everyone is just trolling and that the woke scolds have gone too far, any other dumb shit like that. I genuinely don't know. But, you know, just... it's just so many coincidences. So many coincidences, dude. It's so much. For seriously, for him to make that video and not mention the Christchurch shooter is actually like a glaring, like an overwhelming absence, you know? It's pretty bad. That's pretty fucking bad. Pretty fucking bad. Thank you, 21st Century Socialist. Marshall D. Teach with the $5. Do you think PewDiePie is worse than JonTron? JonTron was stupid enough to be open about the white nationalist perspectives that he has, or maybe had. I don't know if he's changed. Probably not. PewDiePie does infinitely more harm than JonTron, though. JonTron's videos are all pretty much completely apolitical. Like, completely apolitical, you know? Seriously, like, if you go over JonTron videos, like, they're fine. PewDiePie has mixed in a lot of, like, weird dog whistly shit with his content, you know? A lot of weird dog whistly shit. Oh, shit. Sorry, just a friend text. You know? JonTron literally did a 60-second rant about communists and gulags in his latest video where he interviews a NASCAR driver. No, I saw that. I saw that video. I didn't think that was that bad. No, guys, I know he mentioned the communist gulags. You don't have to be a neo-Nazi to make jokes about communist gulags. The building he pointed at was a big concrete block. It's like that's a joke that basically anyone that isn't on the far left would make, you know? Did I say communist? No, I said communist, didn't I? Anyway, I don't consider that dog whistling. Basically, anyone other than the far left would make a joke like that under those circumstances. Whereas PewDiePie has been actively making like dog whistly. Oh, communist is what Jontron said? Okay, whatever. Riley Smith with the $2. Can you look into Arch Warhammer again? I can only do so much of that voice. I'm only capable of doing so much of that fucking voice. Please, Christ God, fuck almighty, have mercy. Okay? Please, please have mercy. Caius with the $1. Vosh, a sitcom joke just happened to me. IRL, my hair clippers died in the middle of giving myself a haircut. Please send help. I look like a crackhead, and I am hangry. Oh God, why? Fuck. That's why you charge your shit overnight, fuckhead. Now you won't forget. I had to go to high school once with half of my beard shaved, and I looked like a fucking idiot, okay? That's just life sometimes. Sometimes you fuck life, sometimes life fucks you, okay? Charge your shit overnight. Charge that shit overnight. It didn't break, it died. I think the implication is that it ran out of charge. Godspeed, Caius. And then Caius with the additional $1. Yoshikage Kira is displeased with your hand hygienics. Shut the fuck up, Kira. You're dead. You got run over by a fucking ambulance. Get out of my face. Arjun with the $5. Thank you, comrade. What am I about to look at here?
Hello, how you doing? Alright, thank you.
Yeah, wait, fucking earbuds? Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Stop!
Yeah. I'm not very happy about talking to you, so if you don't mind, I'll just tell me what I'm doing. If she's not able to express, I don't want you to do so.
Took your time, Boris, haven't you?
Yeah. Where you been?
Alright, well, we've been on it right.
Everyone's living in poverty, the whole country's a joke.
That's it!
The government, the council. No, mate, it's a joke. People are living on the streets. Kids are living on the streets. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody, man. Sort it out.
What? Wait, that's it? Wait, people just mad at Boris Johnson? I'm mad at Boris Johnson. Okay, I mean, good. Like, I'm glad people are mad at Boris Johnson. Godspeed. Yeah, fucking Britbongers. Skitty with the $5. Thanks for the great content. Also, PayPal finally cucked Pornhub out of paying people through their site, and that's gay as fuck. Ah, shit, really? That sucks. My burgeoning fucking daddy dom porn career is in the shitter now. Fuck. Smelly Walker with the very generous $10. Thank you, comrade. Been watching for a while, but never done one of these or talked at all because I'm shy as fuck. Keep up the good shit. I will keep up the good shit. Thank you, comrade. I'm gonna keep it going one way or another. I'll keep making shit, you keep watching. And feel free to chat sometime, huh? We'll all love you here. Everyone spam hug to Smelly Walker, who is desperate for our attention and affection. Yes. Yes, good. Excellent. Yes. Correct. Good. Well done. Oh, that's good. Did you contact ContraPoints? Oh yeah, now that ContraPoints has officially acknowledged me on a stream, I can now say without worrying that I'm like hurting her reputation, that ContraPoints and I have actually been talking privately for a while now. Stay jealous. Balthazar 228 with $5. API Balthazar 228, I saw your fucking earlier dono. Did I miss another one? Wait, let me check. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. You just assumed I hadn't seen it, you piece of shit. Well, thanks for the $5. Professor Studs with the $5. Thank you, comrade. Not trying to start shit, but have you seen the new Many Peters? It seems like Peters subtweets you at one point in a pretty bad reading of your issues with the online left. Love you, comrade. Trans rights. Wait, what's Many Peters? Guys. Oh, it's Peter Coffin's show? I see. The new Many Peters. Oh, the cancel
It is
culture one?
not analysis. It's also not coalition building. This pretense that this quote-unquote dirtbag left is supposedly doing that.
I've got an honest question for you guys. I actually want to know the answer. Am I not gay enough to be in BreadTube? Because I feel like everyone on BreadTube is much gayer than me. Like,
is such a ridiculous and false idea. There is no coalition building. It's simply being the reaction to SJW cancel culture.
Like, I thought I was pretty gay, but am I valid as like a beefy, like, mask gay? Like, who wears like schlubby clothing? Am I valid?
In that what you do is simply point out SJWs who cancel too much, which is basically a form of what are we talking about here? Competitive bullshit. It's all cancel culture, to use the parlance of the times. These are paradigms we have to drop. And to drop those things, we must collectively say, we are going to work towards justice. We are going to work towards emancipation. We are going to work towards a better tomorrow.
All right. Look, I mean, not my style of rhetoric, I'll say that. All right, hold on. I don't know if he was trying to shit talk me or subtweet me or whatever, but at this point, I'm really actually. Can I be real for a second? I need to take a moment. I need to take a fucking moment. When I first talked about how the left has a serious problem with woke scolding and cancel culture and shit, that was like 3 or 4 months ago, maybe even further back. And virtue signaling the social space versus activism space, that was like 4 or 5 months back, I think. And when I came out with it, every single person shit talked me. Every single person on Twitter, my stream chat, in my Discord, everyone thought I was fucking crazy. And now, fucking ContraPoints, Ollie, Lindsay Ellis, H-Bomber Guy, Peter Coffin, Angie Speaks, and others have all come out and validated my point after I said it. And many of those people shit-talked me for my initial points. I'm just pointing that out. I'm just pointing that out. I'm not saying I'm the only one who believes that cancel culture is genuinely an issue and that there's a difference in how we need to treat advocacy versus social spaces. But I am pointing out that I've been getting a lot less shit about it when I talk about it ever since the fucking squad up there has decided that my point was right retroactively 4 months afterwards. Just saying, just pointing it out. I'm not mad. I'm not salty. That's true, Pig. What the fuck did H-Bomb do? I'm pretty sure that during the ContraPoint stuff, H-Bomb... Wait, what do you mean? There's if anyone who supports ContraPoints is implicitly validating the idea that there's an issue in how the left is treating this particular... It's mostly coalesced around the ContraPoints thing, but other people have spoken about it independently, like Peter Coffin, Angie Speaks. I think even Bad Empanada has talked about it. I'm just pointing out. I'm just saying. I'm glad I stuck to my guns, because I remember there were a lot of fucking people telling me that this is ridiculous. You're reinforcing right-wing conspiracy points and talking points. You're telling me that you're weakening the left. You're basically a reactionary grifter who's reinforcing right-wing points from within the left and getting kudo points for pandering to like a alt-leftist group. I was all this shit. Angie Speaks has been on it for a while too, but then she shit-talked me, so I have no idea. I think Angie Speaks is one of like the earliest people to be on that point though. Why do you think that it's always or most times a united right and a sectarian left? The far right isn't united. The far right is just as sectarian as we are. But the general right is much more unified than the general left because the general right knows how to fall into line. Angie seems okay with you as a creator. Hey, to any of you who like have the ability to do so, I'd be more than happy to talk with Angie Speaks sometimes on stream. I think that would actually be a lot of fun. I've even though she's called me like an asshole in the past, I think I've taken I've gotten good from her perspective before. I think it'd be a fun convo. The patched vest with $7.77. Thank you, comrade. In a dog world of Groiper crypto-Nazis, tankies, neo-libs, and libcucks, one flannel-clad hunk of a man will drag the internet doomers through the new enlightenment. VChan board win. If I ever got a board, that'd be like the end game, right? When will you cover the public impeachment hearings, Vosh? When they stop being boring. Anyway, thank you, comrade. I really appreciate it. I'll try and get to it soon, I promise. Seas of Cheese with the $5. Those are some Yoshikage Kira murder nails? Fuck off. Frack is word with the $10. Thank you. Not enough to compensate for the many hours of entertainment. Get better lighting. I have ordered better lighting. I'm waiting for the new camera to come in so I can test it out. No point in using lighting that will only look good with this webcam rather than the DSLR that I've ordered. Anti-Hysterian with the $5. Thank you. What's the best way to deal with Fuentes and his ilk? Seems like his popularity is growing. The reason it seems like his popularity is growing is because it is. But his popularity is growing largely within the purview of people who are already extremely far right. The best way to deal with it is to put pressure on organizations to recognize him for what he is and call him out appropriately. People need to stop calling Fuentes a conservative and start calling him what he is, which is a neo-Nazi. We can put pressure on left-leaning publications to do this. We can also emphasize the importance that right-wing people oppose them based on like populist like appeals to nationalism or patriotism. You know, Fuentes isn't a real American. Fuentes claims to stand for American values but doesn't believe in democracy. That kind of stuff. It's just a matter of public opinion, you know? It's really that simple. Call people out, reframe the discourse. Right now, Nick Fuentes has done a really phenomenal job of reframing the discourse of neo-Nazism around faux patriotism. Before, neo-Nazism in this country was tied predominantly to Norse mythology and paganism. So it's all like runic symbols, you know, Europa, the glorious iron pill, Vikings, Celtic knots, all that shit, you know? But that stuff, those European symbols of neo-Nazism don't really work that well in America. They don't actually function that well. So Fuentes has wisely rebranded his neo-Nazism as Christian nationalism, claiming to be the true patriot conservative who values what America stands for. That's why so much of his rhetoric is tying the principal tenets of neo-Nazism to the wishes of the founding fathers and also to the Constitution. All we have to do is be more American than him and we win in the court of public opinion, which is easy for us to do because Nick Fuentes does not give a single shit about America or anyone in it. Sorry, kind of rambled there. Joel Sass with the $2. Clinton came out as a TERF Sunday Times. Comment? Yeah, I saw that. I have nothing to say, really. Maybe I'll ramble about it tomorrow. Jay Showa O with the overwhelmingly generous double sex number 6969. Holy shit, comrade. That is so incredibly generous of you. Thank you, man. You are fucking it up this stream. I'm in communist China right now on work. I'm in Shanghai Renaissance Pudong Hotel. Come by because I'm waiting for happy ending. Your messages are, as always, cryptic, confusing, and slightly concerning, but I promise you that if I am at any point in the next 24 hours over there in Shanghai, I will pay you a visit, okay? If I slide on over there at any point in the upcoming 24. Yeah, I saw that, Nino. Thank you again, Jay Showa O. I really do appreciate it, and it's incredibly kind of you. And I hope you have a wonderful time in the Shanghai Renaissance Pudong Hotel. I hope you have a grand old time. Squires with the $2. Can't wait for the completely non-violent political revolution because violence is always wrong, so I don't have to worry about going to work on 2 hours of sleep. Keep up the great work, Comrade Poggies. True. Dude, holy shit, dude. I'm actually losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. I have gotten so little sleep lately, I want to fucking die. Okay, listen. As you guys know, my kitten recently had like surgery, and now it's like other treatment, whatever. So the kitten needs to chill the fuck out. So we were given sedatives Like little kitty drugs, you know, that we can put in with the food. We can use it once every 8 to 12 hours, and it knocks him out. First time we gave it to him, fucker passed right out. 2 minutes later, was like limping on over to the bed to collapse, you know? We need him to collapse because if he chills out, it increases the speed with which he heals. We can't risk him exacerbating the injury. But since then, it hasn't worked even slightly. Last night, we gave him the fucking kitty tranquilizer right before going to bed in the hopes that he would go to bed rather than staying up and keeping us up. Zoomed around for another half hour before falling asleep with us, which was nice. And this morning, I got woken up at 7 a.m., so I got 5 hours of sleep for the 3rd week in a row now, every day. 7 a.m. of him being an absolute fucking menace, pulling out sections of the gecko habitats with his teeth, running around, knocking shit over, pulling plugs out of walls. He fucking jumped up onto the cable that connected the lamp that my lizard uses to the wall outlet and knocked it down and nearly hit himself in the head. Just fucking zooming around like crazy. Like fucking crazy. We had to keep putting him in his fucking carrier cage to get him to fucking chill out. And when he's in there, he'll like bash his head against the walls and like meow constantly. We let him out and he keeps zooming the fuck around. We shower and he'll try to jump in the shower to lick the fucking foot water off the bath floor. We fucking push him out of there. Then he goes into the sink and starts knocking shit off of the medicine cabinet into the sink. And then he fucking runs back and we lay down and he starts jumping underneath the covers from the base of the bed so he can run up and bite our toes. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill myself, dude. Holy shit. He's a fucking lunatic. I'm gonna start carrying the fucking sleepy hammer, okay? If he ever acts up too much, just give him the old sleepy time treatment, you know? He's got the zoomies, my friend. Oh man, he's got the zoomies. Fuck me. Holy shit, people are being crazy generous, and I've barely even done anything today. Hold on, let me go through donations. Jesus Christ. Loopy Jackal with the $5. Thank you, comrade. Hope you're doing well. Just want to send some positive vibes and love in the chat. I love all of you. Be the person Mr. Rogers knows you can be. I love you all, and I'm going to get a swole for you guys and Kamala, QOS. Good luck, comrade, okay? Don't forget leg day. I believe in you. I've never actually seen an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I probably should, just so I know what other people are talking about when they refer to it. The Pie 314 man with the $3.14 started 110. Let's start another show, me love. Yes. I don't know what that means, but I'm very excited by your enthusiasm. You had an exclamation point in there. Thank you, comrade. Posada's John with the $1. I wish I had more info about this, but this is fucked up. Guys, they're just trolling. Why do you have to be so fucking hysterical? Join the SRA. Flame Tree with the 141. Thank you, comrade. And then Flame Tree with the 149. Thank you again. You've done it. You've completed a $2.90 donation. I really appreciate it. Or something. Molly with the tier 1 sub. Hey Vosh, been enjoying the streams for a while, so I thought I'd sub. Keep up the good work. Also, the joke says trans rights. Trans rights are no joke, comrade, but I appreciate the sentiment anyway. Jay Showa O with the 669. Thank you, comrade. You're on a fucking roll today. I get apple empanadas from Taco Bell all the time. They're very good. Yes. Nice. I'm glad that you appreciate the quality of Taco Bell's food. That's delightful to hear. Gorgonton with the $6.90. Thank you, trans rights uwu. Uwu to you too, comrade. And oh woe to any of those preferable. Trotsky for life with the $5. New PragerU vid. I guess the US military deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, I watched that one. It's pretty fucking stupid. I don't even feel like covering it. It's just so fucking boring. It's the same military apologia that I've been listening to for my family my entire life. Not my immediate family, my extended family. Lynn with the $5. Paint your nails, my dude. Fuck that. I hate how that feels. JJ Tam with a 666. Very evil. Thank you. Eat the chuds and the rich. In Minecraft. That was the Minecraft eating noise. Not Ayaya with a tier 1 subscription. Thank you, comrade. Was watching your Sonic video for the second time last night. Still your best segment ever, IMO. I'd love to see more like that. Not Ayaya. I would fucking love to. I would love to dedicate entire streams to talking about dumbass movie trailers and fucking pieces of media and stuff. The problem is, I just don't get that much attention for it. People come to me for politics, which I understand and respect. But unfortunately, with the way YouTube works, if I do too many streams or too many videos that don't get enough attention because they're not content people typically expect from me, that will lower my results in the algorithm, which makes it less likely that my more popular videos will get recommended as well. The real solution to this would be to do a second channel, but that I already have so little free time. I'm glad you enjoy the segment. Veritable Chris with the $5. We much seize the means of nail clipping. No longer will bougie nail care harass us, for all shall be equal in our scratchy nailness. Well, all of us but Hyena. Hyena claws the shit out of me with her stupid fucking pointy raccoon hands. Very violent. Very violent. I have no respect for it. Rebecca Duweck with the $2.79 Canadian. Attack on Titan is the best anime. Levi is bae. Levi is the strongest man, right? He's like the 5'3" Asian dude who took out the female Titan. That's Levi. No, is Levi the protagonist? Okay, Levi's the strongest man. Gotcha. Aaron is the protagonist. That's right. Okay, just making sure. Gotcha. The Pi314 man with the 1312. Thank you, comrade. A-cab to you too, brother. You're being incredibly kind today. Need some variety from the sex number, so here's the A-cab number. It's true. Our lefty dog whistles grow stronger every time I get $13.12 in a donation. Thank you, comrade. And speaking of big donations, Jesse with the incredibly generous $42. Thank you. That is so fucking kind of you, comrade. I really appreciate it. First Dono Yi, your streams pulled me out of the alt-right pipeline and got me into leftism and bread tube, so I'm really thankful for everything you do. Anyways, keep up the amazing stream and debates. I promise I'll keep it up for as long as I can before YouTube deletes my channel because I said something bad or showed a nipple on screen. I promise, okay? I'm doing this here for you, comrade. Thank you so much for the incredibly generous donation. It really does mean the world to me. Really does. I love you, buddy. And I'm going to keep doing my best, all right? Together. Thank you. We're almost done with donos, and then we can go on to what it is we were going to discuss next. BugGirl93 with the $1. I want to see a gecko. Show me a gecko. I want to see, please, gecko. And the whole message is interspersed with angry faces. Maybe we'll do a gecko at the end of the stream, comrade. You'll just have to stick around. I'll try to remember. Bitch, please with the $5. What does gay mean? Does it refer to sexual preference or someone's appearance and personality? I honestly prefer to be called a homo rather than gay. Also, will you be playing Dark Souls or Bloodborne on stream? I might play Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls Remastered on stream sometime, just because it's been a while since I played a Dark Souls game and I'm pretty good at them and it would be fun to flex on chat. Gay means whatever you want it to mean. To some people, gay means bad. To some people, gay means same-sex attracted. To some people, gay means flamboyant. It's just a whole incredible, diverse range of potential outputs from that input, you know? It's pretty phenomenal. It's pretty extraordinary. I call myself gay. Brad with a 35 czar. Don't know what that means. No request this time. Just saying you're awesome. Keep up the good work. You're awesome, comrade. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the dono. And J Showa O with the 169. This time attached to no donation at all. Thank you. I'm actually going to take a quick break on donos because you people are being obscenely, one might even say violently generous. And if we want to get any content done, I mean, I'd better move things along a little bit, huh? We'll get the donos in just a sec. I wanted to watch this really quickly. Hold on. Because I haven't actually watched this. There was a shooter, a white supremacist in Chile, who made this video before, like, going off to prison.
John Coben here, the voice libertarian. I'm just making a quick recording here, and some people may be missing it, but I thought I'd quickly do this. I have the PDI police in my house here, and they are arresting me for the evening. So people should understand what's going on. I thought they allowed me to make a quick...
Is he really echoing into his own mic?
Call to my son and also to you. My son wasn't available, so hopefully he'll be able to see this later too. Basically, I just want to let you know what happened, that I was in fear for my life today when I went down to the gun range to shoot the gun I legally hold with a transporting license that I legally have in Chile. And when I was going into downtown Reñaca, I swung by the beach, and as I did so, my car was surrounded by a mob of people, and they started shaking the car, whatnot. I drove through them carefully. I didn't go fast or run anybody over, but I wasn't going to stay and let them do something to my truck, my pickup truck. And when I did that, they began banging it and attacking it. And so, in order to defend myself, I took my gun out and loaded it. It was not loaded before, and I had to load it and prepare myself for being assaulted. And there were many of them at the beach. I don't remember all of the circumstances exactly, but I had to actually fire 2 shots at first before they all started running around me after me, in which I had to stop again and shoot twice again.
Wait. He just drove through and he saw protesters and he tried to drive past them, and then when he saw them harassing his car too, he just fired into the crowd? Yeah, he drove in and then started firing into the crowd. Wait, hold on. Yeah, John Corbin, hold on, wait. God damn it, I have to cancel ad blocker. I fucking hate news sites. Don't run on this page. Here we go. Ugh.
Get free testing and installation with batteries starting at $79.99 at Advance Auto Parts.
Los pacos se embolaron, represión absoluta. Vean cómo dispersan indiscriminadamente. Acá hay jóvenes, niños. Una marcha pacífica. Mira cómo nos reprimen estos hijos de la perra. Miren, miren nada más. Esta es la verdadera cara del gobierno de Sebastián Piñera. Represores, dictadores. Acá hay ciudadanos, conchetumare. No hay delincuentes, weón. Piñera, hijo de puta. Esto es responsabilidad de Blumel.
Wait, does this have the... Does this have it?
Realmente, después como indiscriminado. Hablar. Miren cómo avanza.
Wait, does this video not even have... Videos from a scene on a street in Chile show John Corbin firing a gun from beside his truck as protesters throw what appear to be rocks and bottles at him. Is this it? Wait, he said it was by the beach. Is this it? Oh! Here we go.
¡Echa tu madre! ¡Ándate acá, weón! ¡Ándate, mierda!
Nobody's near him! Nobody's near him! He's surrounded, man. The NAP gives him every right to fire into the crowd of protesters 100 feet away. That isn't bothering him at all. This is what libertarians mean when they say NAP, by the way. What they actually mean is whenever they get scared. That's the NAP for them.
I accidentally apparently hit somebody in the thigh, a man. I don't know who that is.
I accidentally apparently hit somebody in the thigh, he said, after firing his gun at ground level into a crowd of people.
Now the police are telling me I have to be in fear for my own life, that my family, that they found my house, and that the phone's been ringing off the hook. So we ask for your prayers and also any help you might have. I've been on the phone with Hermogenes Perez de Arce, who's my lawyer, as well as others, and these lawyers can hopefully give a hand to help in this situation. Even because I did not do anything wrong, I legally had the right to carry that gun with me. And I was in my car, and they attacked me while I was in my car. I loaded the gun. After that, I was in fear for my life, being attacked by a violent mob. And so shooting for time, apparently there was an innocent victim who was struck in the thigh, and that's the main reason that I have to go to the police station now. So I don't know how long they're going to give me to talk online here, and I'm preferring to speak in English just because I'm not sure that everybody else in the room here understands that language. So I hope that some of you can make this report known to others in Spanish, and that way people can be assured. My truck was, the side was banged in by them. They completely broke out the passenger side window.
Jesus Christ.
Again, it was very dangerous, very, very scary time for me. Thankfully, I had my gun to be able to defend myself, and was able, by pulling out the second time and shooting, I was able to scare them off away before I could get back in the car fast enough and drive away and get out of harm's way. Done all that, I just wanted to make sure that you are all aware of that, and I hope you can spread the message to other people. I will leave this thing recorded here. Please ask Valentine or Joe to get online, since they are from the party and know how to make this recording sound off again. I don't think they're going to let me ask her any questions now. I just wanted to give you a...
All right, that's enough of this shit. Jesus Christ, what a fucking psychopath. Let's go. Let's one more time. Wait, one more time, just for old time's sake. Okay, wait, hold on. One more time. I love that we get to see no one being around him at first. Look at that. God, oh, it's just such a clear street. I grew up in Los Angeles. When I look at this, I see this is like an empty road to me. He's out there, he's got his firearm brandished. He's wearing a safety jacket. Oh, because he came from the gun range, that's right. Fired a few warning shots by directly firing at somebody directly in front of him and hitting someone apparently behind. I was completely surrounded. They had me at all angles there. There was really nothing that I could do. I had no choice but to fire directly into the crowd on the other side of the country. God, what a piece of shit. By the way, this really is what libertarians mean when they talk about the NAP, by the way. This is what they mean. What they mean is whenever they're scared and they feel they have justification. Which, you know, happens. Oh, wait! This is so perfect! This segues perfectly. Because we gotta talk about Chile. I'm sorry, Chile. My apologies. We have a national here to speak with us. Vosh, as quick as possible, is your pro-gun stance based on consequentialism? What do you see as the negative consequences of gun control? And is any degree of gun control unacceptable to you? No, like, I don't want people to have, like, private nukes or whatever, like, obviously. I think there are reasonable limitations on what type of firearms people can have. With that being said, the consequence of gun control is giving the government carte blanche, like permission, essentially, to strip firearm rights from people who they feel are a threat to the government. I'm a far left activist on YouTube. They would absolutely deny me firearm ownership, but they would never do it to people in the far right, which makes us easier targets, which also negates the likelihood of a proletarian revolution in the near future. Okay, Give me 1 second. I'm going to use the restroom, and then we're going to talk to a Chilean national. We're going to talk about Chile. Been too long. Been way too long. Way too long. We got to talk about Chile, folks. Chilla. Chilla. Chill. Look at my comfy fucking sweats. You know what sucks about weight loss? Fucking the shit goes down too easy. Look at this. What am I? The hip hop? Fucking... I'll call him out. No, not right now. Hello! I shouldn't have done that. I put my weight on the door, you know? What if it had broke? This house isn't, like, phenomenally well put together. Did anyone call me racist for the hip-hop joke? Let me see. Nope, no one called me racist. Nice. At least nobody that I can see. That's pretty cool. Debate me on guns? No. Debate my fucking taint with your tongue. One person asked if you were a racist. We're all racist. I shouldn't say that. That's a Nazi talking point. If you care about this, Literature Devil, the guy who made the Mary Sue video, made a vid on why Ray is Sue but Luke isn't. I don't give a fuck, dude. Adam Friended and PSA Sitch were both supposed to fucking bring me onto their program so I could talk shit at them. But Adam Friended just stopped responding to my emails. I have no idea why. No idea. Oh, I saw Rhino. Thank you, comrade. I saw. What's the #1 topic you'd want to debate someone on? There are no topics in particular I want to debate anyone on. All I care about is spreading the best possible ideas to the greatest number of people. I'll debate any topic. I'll talk about the fucking Kardashians if I have to. I do not care. Ugh. Not that I know much about them. Nice job talking to Sanders' media team. You mean responding to a tweet? Hey, Twappy, are you there? I saw you say the Surfs TV was your favorite left-leaning YouTuber. I've got my fucking eyes on you, Twappy. Your days are numbered. Can you believe the betrayal? The betrayal from Twappy. Disgusting. Reprehensible, in fact. Excuse me. All right, let's do it, folks. Folks. Pay the fuck attention. Chile. Chile is burning. Let's talk about it. Yeah, Twappy. Low. Quilpate?
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, hello!
Ah, there we go. Sorry, I forgot I had put on the push to talk.
You have a good microphone and a pleasant voice. I anticipate a good conversation. Hello.
Thank you. And hello to you too. Can I get a trans rights from you?
No, I fucking hate trans people. We're on NB rights now. Wait, NB or trans. Yeah, trans rights. Sorry. No edgy shit for me today. How you doing?
Personally, sort of okay, but it's been terrible. Just lots of anxiety, sadness. There's lots of anger. Right now, I'm in Sydney with my family, with my wife and my cat, and I'm doing this PhD here at Sydney Uni. And seeing this thing going over in Chile, being far away, but also being with the family, with the social media and so on, and seeing what the media has been doing. So I don't know, how do you want to approach this? Where do you want to start?
Okay, so I, generally speaking, understand what's going on. So let me, in fact, okay, let me give you what I know of the story. I've done no research on this, so I'm really leaving the table up here. I'm leaving it open. So essentially, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I can help out as much as I can.
Yeah. Okay. So the narrative that I have heard is that there was an increase in the bus fare that has led to a bunch of protests. But then, what it seems like is that actually the increase in the bus fare was just the last straw, which has followed like dozens and dozens of tiny reforms and concessions and deregulations that have systemically made the life of the average Chilean worse over the past invariable period of time. That you guys have a fairly corrupt, fairly shit tier fucking meanie pants neoliberal government that is systemically squeezing out your rights and economic privileges, and this is just the icing on top. Do I have that more or less?
Yep.
Nice. All right. Tell me, what the fuck has been going on over there? Hit me up, and hit me up as though I was complete brainlet. Okay, hit me up as though you were speaking to just some average Amerifat who had no idea what was going on.
All right. So this started on October 18th. I think it was on a Thursday in Chile, and basically, we had this price. The fare increase for the metro, which was something that was how you say it. It had been planned for a time, but they just tell people, okay, we're gonna increase it in 30 pesos, which is about, I don't know, probably like I don't know, like 20 cents or something of a dollar. It's a very low increase, but previously, a few weeks before, or the week before, the transport minister has said, but people, this is just for the peak time fare increase. If you wanna, not pay so much, you can just get up earlier and go on. And we are talking about a city which is, I have never been to Los Angeles, but I can tell you that Santiago is very geographically extensive. It's a very large city, and also a lot of the people who are working class live in the outside zones, so they have to travel, say, an hour and a half, 2 hours or so per go to work or to get back home.
So you're saying the working class agitation over the increase in the bus fare was exacerbated by the fact that there is a large portion of the population that has to commute a long distance to get to work.
Yeah, indeed, because this is a transport system that's been going on since 2006 or so, which they integrated the public transportation using buses and the metro. The metro in Santiago, which is the capital, has always been like the spine of the transport in Chile, and then in Santiago, and then they integrated it with the bus. But the thing is that people just have very shitty lives in that regard. Like the quality of life in Chile, we work 45 hours weekly, which means that people often start to work at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and they have to drop off kids at school and earlier, and also take into account these 1 hour and a half trips, which means that you have to get up at 5 or 6 for the people who live outside places, and then you exit work at 6, 7, even later if you work in, I don't know, retail and stuff. So the transport thing, and this is something that is very historical in Chile. And you were saying Chile, right? By the way, no, it's not Chile.
I know it's Chile.
Exactly. I don't care. You should say whatever you want, but
you can call it America if you really want to. Okay.
No, I called you United States. America is larger than the US. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, fucking Latin American person. That's right. Okay.
Exactly.
Counter my
Right.
colonial narrative. Wait.
I know. So the thing is that the transport has always been a touchy issue, and on October 18th, out of nowhere, and this was completely unexpected, a series of high school students start to dodge the fare. They just hopped over the turnstiles, and this sparked this whole thing that's going on. They just started doing it for a few days, and the people just started, supporting them, and it was amazing. People were starting to protest the metro. The turnstiles are for the metro, and everyone just rallied up with the students, and basically they sparked this thing. And then people started complaining about the metro outside the metros, and then that same night of the 18th, and this is also, I think, something that's very important to make an emphasis on. The government, which you characterized correctly, chose to place a state of exception. I don't know if you know what that is.
I do not. Could you elaborate?
Yes, a state of exception is constitutionally established period of time. In this case, it was for a maximum of 2 weeks, in which certain human rights and constitutional rights can be limited or outright not respected, which in the specific case of this specific state of exception, that there are many. For example, when there's emergency, like natural emergencies and so on, which have happened in Chile with the earthquake in 2010, they also declare state of exception for this natural emergency. So people, had to respect a curfew and so on and so on. But that was for a natural disaster. Here,
somebody, really quickly,
yep.
Somebody in chat is saying there were a bunch of metro stations that were destroyed before the state of emergency was declared. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, that was what sparked this whole thing. But again, the concept of destruction, it's something we can talk about that maybe later, because they were set on fire, but it's very hard to set a metro station on fire. So there's a lot of questioning about who really did it. And our police force has a history too in southern Chile of burning up trucks and shit to fuck up with the native indigenous people in southern Chile. So yeah, there were some damages, but I honestly will question.
I have a couple of quick questions just to establish a setting here.
Yes, please.
What is the general level of economic well-being in Chile? I understand that things have been getting worse, but I mean, when I think of Chile, like, okay, again, speak to me as though I'm an ignorant American. I'm totally not, but let's pretend
it's not that hard. Don't worry.
Yeah. Imagine like so my frame of reference is like really good area to live, like would be like Beverly Hills, which is where I grew up in. And then you have like and I've been to Mexico, and like I've seen that place, and that place varies tremendously depending whether you're in a city or a rural area. And when I see like videos of the protests in Chile, these places look kind of like mid to low tier urban areas in America. Like these areas aren't wealthy, but they're not like cripplingly like third world poor. This isn't a third world nation, right?
Yeah, that's the image that we have managed to success. I think that the elites have managed to successfully export. My wife, for example, teaches Spanish here in, everywhere, but here in Australia. And she always tells and can tell that, for example, for Australians, for Americans, and so on, Chile is like a good starting point to arrive to Latin America and to South America, because it usually to them feels exactly the way that you're describing it. Like things work. The metro is one of the top probably 5 in the world. The places which are very middle class, upper class are very much like other places. I have been around the world, and I can tell you, in general, those good areas in Santiago, they seem very, developed. I hate the concept, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of safe. It's not like it's terrible. It's still Latin American, but we have also had this ideological pride in saying, no, we're very different than other Latin American countries. Actually, a couple of days ago, a libertarian piece of shit intellectual said, oh no, we're going to be like other Latin American countries, which is like, dude, we are Latin American. What the fuck? But yeah, your perception is correct. However, the actual numbers and the actual
would you say that the wait, are you still there? Oh. Comrade? Oh no, they got him. Oh shit. Oh shit, they took him out. Oh fuck. The CIA heart attack gun. Wait, he says, what the fuck, I'm here, the CIA got me. Wait, let me restart the call. Hello? Wait, leave the call and rejoin. I can see your thing lighting up, but you're not coming through at all. Leave the call and rejoin.
Hi?
Ah, there you are. Hello.
What the fuck?
Okay. There you go. All right.
All right.
I had a question. I
Yes,
was about
please.
to ask you right as you cut out.
Yeah.
How much would you say the legacy of Pinochet sort of haunts Chile, like to this day? Like, how much do you think that impacts people's conscientiousness when it comes to?
All right. So just before us answering that question, just to make a quantitative point, the actual median income in Chile is about probably. Let me do the math because I'm working on Australian dollars right now. So just. So the average median income per month in Chile is about $620.
$620?
Yep. You know what median is, right? Or you the people median is basically it's you put everyone from like you pile them from less to from low to high, and you look at the exact 50. The guy the person that's at the exact
Yeah,
the medium.
you order everyone from lowest to highest, and then you pick the middle. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, that's just over $7,000 a year. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
That's like 1/8 the median income in America.
Exactly. But if you look at data like that macroeconomical data, they will tell you that the actual GDP per capita is like 22,000 or so dollars. And that's because the top 5%, 1%, etc. Is it's kind of like the US. You know how it is in the US too. All right, so that's to at least tell other people how is someone is asking like how does that money go for in Chile. For example, you probably pay around a third or a half of that in rent, especially in Santiago. So immediately and we're talking that the minimum wage is like about half or 2/3 of that, so about $400. So yeah, it's cheap money. It's not enough money to live decently. Yeah, Chile actually, the Santiago especially, has been compared to London in terms of living expenses.
How do you believe the protests have been going so far? Have there been any has there been any acquiescence on the part of the government? Has there been any pushback?
No, not at all. You ask me how is the ghost of Pinochet going on, and I'm doing my PhD actually on how our constitution was made, and our constitution was made in 1980. It was made in the 70s and enacted, put in effect in the 80s, and it's Pinochet's constitution. And while it has been reformed, it's still basically the same piece of shit. I didn't say that. It's the same document. Basically, it's the structure, the concepts. They're all there, and everything looms over the whole system. After Pinochet returned power in 1990, the center-left government just basically continued the whole neoliberal practices. They did some level of social, distribution of wealth and so on, but it's very minimal. And Chile is very much a privatized country. Everything private. The water is private. Our natural resources have been mostly privatized.
Yeah, aren't you the only developed country on Earth that has privatized water?
I have heard this. I do believe it.
That's actually fucking incredible to me. Privatized water.
Yeah, it means that basically if you own the piece of land upstream and you cut off the water, you can fuck off towns and people who are downstream, and which is something that's happened, especially with avocado crops. That's something because they also require lots of water. So there are a lot of small towns in certain areas of Chile which have been fucked over by people. Basically there are like, I don't know, probably like 2,000 or 5,000 families who control all the wealth in Chile too.
That's cool.
And yeah, amazingly, right. And you also asked me if how I think if the government is acquiescing. No, I don't think so. They have been very hardlined about what this is my perspective on this, of what they understand what the problem is and how to solve it, and neither of those are pointing at the core of the issues that the people have been asking, one of which is to make a new constitution.
What specific provisions of the existing constitution do you feel need? So usually successful protests usually have very strong centralized questions and concerns. They don't just express unhappiness. That's what we did with Occupy Wall Street for the most part. It didn't really work out.
Yeah.
You need to have pointed, like what the Hong Kong protesters are doing. You have like a set list. Is there any such list with the Chilean protesters?
No, and this is, well, there are some elements. I think the answer is yes and no. What I think is wonderful about this protest is that it's very much leaderless. There's a lot of transversal social elements to the protests. It's not just a working class protest. A lot of the middle class, lower middle class, probably some elements of more woke upper middle class are also in there. But it's amazing to see the yes, I am from Chile. Carol Dance de General, for someone asking in the chat.
Valid.
Thank you. And the thing is that it's leaderless, which it can be good and bad. And so far, this has meant that people have not backed down. And but some of the elements of these protests are basically pension, which is also completely privatized. You are forced to give money to a private company, which will do whatever they want with that money, and you basically have no access to that money until you retire. And then they set out the terms of how they give it to you. So there's pension, there's health, there's a large amount of population actually uses a public fund health system. However, most of the it's very bad, it's very shitty, and especially middle class people use privatized system, which works if you have money. In Chile, basically, if you have money, everything kind of works, but if you don't, you're kind of fucked. And 80% of people just don't have money. That's just the reality of it.
What do you think the odds are of this ending well?
I think I go in waves of. To me, this is very hopeful that people are not backing down. I thought that it could have died down the first days. I was very desperate to because of that, but they have shown that they just won't back down. And I think that for everything that the executive has done, the president, the ministries, and so on have done, they have shown that they are not backing down, which shows that even though there's not a completely set list of demands, like a written list, the demands are kind of clear in that regard. They also, for example, some of the things people have asked for is better salaries, of course, like a higher minimum wage. And just to give you an example of how the government is, the president and the executive is considering this, they said, okay, we're gonna put in, instead of 500,000 pesos, 300,000 pesos minimum wage, which is actually what's going on. We're gonna move it to 500,000 pesos, so a big increase. But what's the government is gonna subsidize that difference. It's not an actual bump in the minimum wage by law, but rather they're gonna subsidize that. Like, and this is something that was done in 18th century England under Queen Elizabeth, and it just didn't work. So they're doing things that are completely stupid, which any economist or any sociologist will tell you that that's not the point, because it's going to lead to a lot of perverse incentives, like economists say.
I mean, not that they give a single shit whether or not they're perverse incentives.
No, of course not.
So how much? So I assume. I mean, you watch me. You're probably a leftist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much of the what would you say the split is in terms of the popular sentiment in these protests? Would you say they're largely liberal and fighting against like an evident failure of the system, or is there a strong leftist sect of the protests that's fighting back against with the hope of substantially challenging neoliberalism?
I think the core of this. And this is something that I think is important to talk about, and I think it's also what sets some difference of what is going on here than other places, which is that I do not see the hammer and the sickle as banners of this revolution. However, the values that are underpinning it, I think, are indeed leftist, and I think they come from the history of 28th century leftism, especially communism and socialism in Chile, which is just a very strong, unlike the US, obviously, we had a communist and socialist government.
For how long it lasted, yeah.
Well, yeah, but still, we have a long tradition of socialism.
Yeah, but then you had a short and extremely painful tradition of socialists falling out of helicopters. So I can understand if the sentiment has been buried somewhat.
Yeah, obviously, especially with the generation that's like from my parents. There is a tradition of anarcho-syndicate. There is a lot of traditions. Everything from leftism you can find in Latin America. But the older generations, I think, are very afraid of what may be going on. There's also a very strong anti-Marxist sentiment in a lot of people who are, especially center and right wing, because of what happened in the 1970-73, which led to the coup and all of that. But I think the core of the issue is the question of dignity and equality and justice, which I think are very much core socialist and communist and leftist values in the end.
What do you think? What do you think people here in the States can do? Like, obviously, we can't do much, but in terms of getting the word out, spreading popular rhetoric, are there any particular propaganda points that reactionaries are trying to use against the protesters? Is there any particular language or rhetoric or messaging we could use to get people on board with the idea that this is an ethical protest being done for good reasons? What, in your opinion, what do you think can be done?
Well, the thing is that the media, the traditional media, and which is the media that gets exported to, for example, here Australia or the US or whatever, they're just focusing on the vandalism, on the material destruction. Only little bits are focusing on the actual human rights abuses and torturing, and we have attained the highest amount of people with eye injuries or loss of sight or things like that. for being 25 or so days in protest.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I think
I saw the military piling up the corpses of protesters. I believe I saw that video. Yeah, your armed forces sure are going hard keeping you people in line.
Yeah, I think that's also sadly a history of our police being more in line with the armed forces than being a civilian police in in this context. That's the police have always been a tool for the elite. This is from 19th century at least, and we had in 28th century there's been many examples of the police force being used to gun down workers' protests. There's a famous one from 1905, if I am not mistaken, in northern Chile, in which there was a syndicate, a union protest in I think it was a school, could have been a factory, that kind of goal, and the police just went in there, shot everyone down. It's basically the same thing that's going on right now. Though now they're just using tear gas and shooting these rubber balls with iron and so on and so on. So I think one of the things that outside people, the foreigners, can do is make this visible. I think my desperation is because I see that there's yet not enough political pressure from outside for the government. I think one of the most unrecognized elements that shifted political issues during our dictatorship was that the political pressure from international pressure changed things within. It forced Pinochet and the military junta to change things. So I think the number one thing will be to make this visible, make these human rights violations. There has been systematic use of violence and rights abuse in the police force in Santiago, in Chile, in all the places that there's been protests and so on. I think that's if I consider a message, I think that's 1907. Someone tells me that this attack was 100 years of the police force murdering people for the elite, and I think also that's something that we as leftists we need to start to make popular. Eat the rich and all of that, and because otherwise they're gonna just kill us until we shut down.
Do you one thing that's so normally when I think of like what do we do to talk about this subject, I usually frame it around debunking talking points from the opposition. But I haven't actually seen, and this is probably a product of the spaces that I move in, I haven't actually seen any propaganda demonizing the Chilean protests in Western media. I haven't seen any big figures talking about how all of you are actually Antifa cheapskates trying to steal money from the government. I haven't seen any big YouTube videos that got super popular calling all of you like a bunch of like communist revolutionaries who are trying to seize the state to build gulags or whatever. All the typical propaganda, I haven't seen it. Now, that's probably, again, because I mostly move in left-leaning circles. I'm sure there is quite a bit of propaganda out there. That's what I'm curious about. What are the counterfactuals? What are people saying about you guys that needs to be debunked?
Basically, they just focus on the material destruction or the protest as okay, fine. This people protesting and some are misbehaving and the police is using force to quiet them down and all of that. But I think there hasn't been a proper visibilization. It hasn't been made enough. The point hasn't been struck about the level of human rights violations that have been done by the government and the fact that they're not listening, they're not acting like a government, and they're not governing. And I think so far, this they're getting away with violating human rights, and this is fucking 21st century. To me, it's dementia how they can get away with this, and the consequence I see is that there is no external political pressure. I just don't see it, and this is what I see in the news here in Australia. Australians tell me, "Oh yeah, I hear that there's some protest and whatever." So I don't think they're playing it down. I think that's my point. They're playing everything down. And this is protests. These are protests that have been going on, and they have been filling the streets. They have been. I don't know how common this is.
I mean, this is a pretty significant protest. I mean, this is this isn't some weak shit. I mean, this is pretty heavy. The cities are being like shut down with how many protesters there are. Are there any people within the government that are sympathetic towards the will of the protesters? Is there, for example, like a left-leaning or like left liberal party that has some legislative power, something like that? You know.
Okay, if I have to give a yes no, the answer will be no. Because the government is right now is very much it used to be neoliberal or liberal rights, but these actions have demonstrated that they are they like when push comes to shove, they have been showing that they are using the same resources and the same tactics that the dictatorship use. So they basically just went full authoritarian. Some say that maybe a minister like I think it's the Interior Ministry or State Minister is trying to play things a bit cooler with the president, but the president is, I don't know, he's like an egomaniac, like, much like Trump, and I think he's absolutely
What's the name of your president?
Sebastián Piñera. He also was
go spell check. There we go.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank Google for that.
Sebastián Piñera Chigile has corrected itself into
no, it's Piñera.
Hey, he's 69 years old. Nice. Holy shit.
Who will fuck that?
Your president is worth $2.8 billion?
Yep.
And he went to Harvard. Oh, damn. God, you can't get more neoliberal than that.
Indeed. Yep.
Jesus.
I think that's very good, show. It's a show and tell. It just tells you everything about his politics and so on. So no, I so far no one in the government has demonstrated any empathy with the actual concerns that the protests are asking for.
Sucks.
They're not going to reform. They're not going to do the structural state reforms that are needed. The Constitution basically empowers them to privatize everything. They are trying not to give away that privilege. My wife, which is much more hardliner leftist than I am, and much more intelligent and paranoid, as usually is the case, she says that they're just downright evil in that they know what the fuck is going on, but they just don't want to. They don't want to give in any privilege. They just no.
So, from what I'm reading right here, in regards to that aforementioned sympathy in the government, and hey, I mean, no, I probably agree with your wife in this respect. Like, no credence given to the interest of neoliberal governments trying to ensure dignity for their people. I'm reading an article now. Chilean NGOs Popular Defense Vergara Toledo Bros Defense Committee and Legal Cooperative filed Monday a lawsuit for crimes against humanity against President Sebastián Piñera, so that Santiago's Seventh Guarantee Court investigate his political responsibility for human rights violations which have taken place over the last 2 weeks amid massive unrest in the country. This seems pretty big. What do you think the odds are of this actually pushing through? Is there much accountability for your government?
Hard to say. The judiciary during the dictatorship basically did nothing. I don't have that much faith because, again, justice is mostly it works for the elite, and or either way, the elite usually gets away with shit. The son, for example, I think to me this makes it very clear. The son of a politician a couple of years ago was drunk driving and killed, a working class man and basically never had to set a foot in jail. The corpse, in the morgue, the medical service basically said no, no, we can't say anything. The reports were doctor basically, and now a couple of weeks ago I heard that this the son of this politician was going to work in the Ministry of Education. So that's the level of accountability that the elite has. I hope that this changes with this. I am desperate for these politicians to, especially for those who work for the state right now, for them to be accountable for the human rights violations. Like, there has been abuses, there has been tortures, there's been illegal detention, sorry, and all of that, and yet no ministers have, presented they haven't resigned, which to me is a clear backing up of what the government is doing, basically. So everyone is closing ranks with what's going on.
So I'm really curious to see how this goes, because I think this is a very unique type of protest. Usually these protests...
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, usually these are either socialist revolutions in the making, whether they succeed or not, or they're protests against an overtly authoritarian government. And Chile does, of course, have like elections and stuff. It's not authoritarian in the same way like the Arab Spring nations were. So there's obviously a difference there. I'm looking right now at the 2017 Chilean general election, and I'm quite surprised by a lot of what I'm seeing. So I'm sure, obviously, you know this, but your current president, apparently, after unveiling his cabinet in 2018, revealed that his interior minister, Andre Chadwick, was a vocal supporter of Pinochet, which is pretty cool. That's a good meme. Also, but on the plus side, it seems like...
I can up you on that.
Yeah?
During the 80s, this Chadwick fella, he actually used to... he was a rat in the university, and he... how do you say it when you tell people... when you denounce people to, the fascist government?
Like when you rat them out?
Yeah, exactly. He used to rat people out during his... he was... I can't recall if he was just the students' union president or the I don't know, something in the universities, and he did a lot of writing up for the. So he's involved. His hands are not. He obviously probably didn't torture anyone, but he's fucking involved in everything. So yeah, he is a supporter, and he's also, by the way, the cousin of the president.
Nice. What a disgusting piece of shit. It looks like in the 2017 Chilean presidential election, so obviously you guys don't get another round until 2021, which is a long time away. But it seems like, if nothing else, Alejandro Guillier, Guillier came decently close. Like, in terms of the popular vote, it was 54.5% to Sebastian and 45.4% to Alejandro, which suggests to me, and this I think is, I think maybe where the best hope lies. It seems like even if these protests don't get what they want, it's unlikely Piñera is going to be elected in again for another term. Maybe radical change can happen after the next round of elections.
Okay, so let me explain this for the people too. The elections in Chile, since we started having elections again in 1990, they have been going on pretty much like that, as in, like 48, 52%, and so on in second round votings. But this Alejandro Guillier guy, he's from a center left, quote left coalition. That has been also part of the problem. So I am unsure, and right now they also have not shown up too much strength or determination or hearing the people and so on. So I'm not sure that this coalition has... I don't think so. They are just basically reproducers of the neoliberal system, because I think a lot of them are something we call in Chile the izquierda, which is basically the whiskey left. So basically, old school leftist guys who, some of them who fought against Pinochet, some of them were exiled and then returned, but they became kind of settled in this neoliberal system. And just to make the example, one of our past presidents, President Lagos, he used to be like a hardcore anti-Pinochet guy who went on to TV in the 80s when it was very, very risky to do that. He could have gotten shot or disappeared or whatever. And he confronted Pinochet directly in TV, and he was very inspiring. But then in the 2000s, when he was president, he basically leased everything. He made a lots of decisions that end up privatizing streets, highways.
Wait, what the fuck? Why? Class traitor, why?
Yeah, because since we have had this huge history of socialism and so on, they just became this thing called renewed socialists, or the renewed left. And now I think more the younger generations have been showing more. I think they show more hardcore leftist ideals, more direct criticisms to the capitalist system, and so on. So I place more faith maybe in them than in this old center-left coalition. So I don't think that if we would have gotten a different president, like between Alejandro Guiller or Sebastián Piñera, it would have been that different. Because, for example, the price increase which sparked this was it was a technical decision, obviously political, but also technical, and these are regular increases. So everyone agrees on this, like everyone who has real access to power. So no, I don't think that necessarily changing the government to this other center-left coalition can give us the structural reforms that we need. Also, what I was going to say, shit, sorry, it's the
No worries. You've been pumping it out pretty hard. If you need a
no, it's all right. I used to teach at the university and I love it, so it's all right.
Wait, out of curiosity, what's your current profession? You said you're getting your PhD.
Yeah, I'm getting a PhD in sociology. I'm a sociologist by profession.
Nice.
I studied
me
sociology.
Too, kind of.
Yeah, that's why I started following you, because respect. And I'm doing this PhD on how our current constitution was made in the 70s, basically from a sociology of knowledge perspective. We have the sorry, yeah?
No, my comrade. So you're in agreement with me that if sociology was given more credence, we could unquestionably, like substantially improve general elections and like the quality of government, right? That sociology is a vastly underappreciated field that needs to be respected more?
Yeah, absolutely. That it's been something I've been trying to advocate right now on Twitter and things like that. And just to answer something in the chat, I got here in 2018. This is my second year here in Australia, using a government scholarship, which I hope that doesn't get cut off due to these things that have been going on. So it's not like it's not like I bailed from Chile. I would love to be there, even if I don't know. So yeah, I think sociology has been, especially in Chile, and other social sciences like anthropology and so on. They have been a little bit too technified, but also, and this is something that's very close to us. Sociology was forbidden during the dictatorship. The sociology majors in universities, they were closed down, and it was forbidden to engage in sociology. So there's like a generational gap in there too.
Bolsonaro has been pushing in that direction as well.
Yeah, I saw getting into universities and things like that, and it shows you how important universities are in some way. Obviously, they're not everything, but they are important as intellectual places.
Well, there's a reason why every far-right government immediately goes after the intellectuals. Like there is a reason why that happens.
Yeah, intellectual is also one of my topics, so would love to chat about that too.
Yeah. After really quickly, after we're done speaking about this, or after we've spoken about this a bit more, I think, or when you feel comfortable concluding, I was going to bring on Twapi, who's I think now that the campaign is completed, but he was a foreign policy advisor, and we're going to discuss this from a more Western-centric, like tactical approach. Would you be interested in participating in that discussion, or do you have stuff you'd like to move on to?
No. I would love to. I'm just happy to talk about things.
Gotcha. With that being said, oh, the video finished. With that being said, would you be interested in me bringing him on now?
Yeah, sure.
Here, let me see if he's here. 1 second. Twapi. How's your day going?
Woke up pretty early, but it's fine. I'm in the future here, or rather, you're in the past. So it's like 9 a.m.
Oh, by the way, do you want to like shout? Is there any like social media that you would like to shout out? Hello?
Sorry, I put in the chat. I forgot to press the button.
Gotcha.
It's the morning. My name is Mauricio Kilpatay. Mauricio is my name, and @Kilpatay is my Twitter handle. It's just my last name.
Gotcha. Because we're going to do a group call, I'm going to switch to the Discord server really quickly. You're on my Discord server, correct?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, join. I'm going to end this call. Join the Stream Collins channel so I can pull you in. Okay.
Okay.
Peace. I feel like a talk show host or something. Jesus. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing wonderfully. Uh-oh, the other guy left. I'll bring him back 1 second. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Man, life's been really good recently. It's been excellent.
Yeah, I've seen a cavalcade of success on your Twitter, if nothing else.
Yeah, everything's good. We just won the mayoral election. I got a second job as a foreign policy advisor to another congressional candidate. Everything's just going wonderful, man.
Fuck yes, absolutely. Kilpate, are you here? Can you hear?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Amazing. My friends, hello. What the fuck do we do? Okay, we've got.
Hi, Tupi. Sorry.
Oh, hello. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too.
We've got the three greatest minds: a PhD Chilean national studying sociology, a foreign policy advisor, and a YouTuber. We're ready. This is.
¿Cómo?
We've got everyone we need.
Brilliant, man. This is a real collection of the new modern, like, this is the new enlightenment right here. We're starting it today.
Oh, unquestionably. And thank you, by the way. I think only those words could have really described the gravitas of what we're doing here. Twapi, I want to open up with you. How much of the conversation that we just had did you hear? No shame if you had to leave the period or whatever.
A good amount of it. The other half was Outer Worlds.
I respect that. What are your immediate opinions? How are you feeling?
I feel very hopeful about the Chilean protests. I feel very hopeful about a lot of protests going around in the world. The only one I would say I feel not so hopeful about would be the one in Hong Kong, which of course is like going against an immovable force. But
yeah, China.
I think
there's no external force that can keep China from doing whatever they want. Like
exactly, that's the main thing. There's no real like counterweight except for like bad PR. But at the end of the day, they're the people with like people in concentration camps. So I mean, like, they don't really care about it at the end of the day. But here, what started to remind me a lot, the general strike, a lot of the different strikes has been on the ground in Chile, and like evasion tactics. It reminded me of a lot of what happened in Sudan. Immediately there was violence and like hardcore government crackdown. But as like all the cameras kind of like turned to them and they realized like, oh, we can't actually push this back. And then the general strike happened. They had to slowly cave. And after one demand was met, another demand was met, and another demand was met. Now, the
Right.
difference here, of course, being that this is Chile, there's not as many cameras on it. The discussion about it's a little different, and it might actually go against U.S. interests in some cases. So it actually makes it a lot more difficult. But I think that the amount of support I've seen on the ground, the amount I've seen of support in international, even if there's not in the discussions I've had behind closed doors, most people in American foreign policy are actually against the Chilean protests. But I think I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful. I think I don't see any budging from the protesters. I've only seen a really huge backlash from the government, but then slow caves.
All right. With that being said, Kilpate, do you agree generally with that characterization?
I love to hear that Tupi thinks that. To me, the first few days in the Chile protest was like, oh fuck, and then I saw what was going on in the Lebanon, especially, and seeing all the people in the streets and in Barcelona and everywhere, and that I think that sentiment of the neoliberal capitalist system just failing to provide for people, I think that's the general sentiment. And we'll see whether leftism can use that and mobilize that, and whether or not that will mean something. And I agree, Hong Kong seems amazing, but it's China, and I don't know. But yeah, I agree with Tupi. He's much more knowledgeable than myself about the external international situation, and it's nice to see that.
Gotcha. I just, man, I get, okay, listen, because I'm more Amerifat than both you. I mean, like literally, okay? I've seen Dylan's cut jawline, and you're obviously not American, Kilpate. But I feel like there's such a burnout right now when it comes to paying attention to foreign. I haven't even talked about Haiti on my channel. Hong Kong has been huge and taken up an enormous amount of media space. You've Chile going on right now. We're still off the cuff on Venezuela. Now we've got fucking Bolivia. Like,
yeah,
there's so much shit is happening. And that's not even the whole of it. And it's so difficult to partition one's interest appropriately. But I feel like the Chilean protests are genuinely special, you know? I want to help in whatever way I can, but I don't it seems like the odds of success here they're not like non-existent. It just feels like the immediate goals are a little bit more difficult to pursue than they are in other instances. If that makes any sense, my lack of foreign policy understanding might be coming through here.
I would say that when you set these goals out, they're like posts in the distance. And I hate to quote Donald Trump in The Art of the Deal, but you never just like ask for something and then like the government gives it to you. It goes through like a very long process of pushing back and forth, back and forth. One of the best arguments, even if you aren't in support of Medicare for all, you should support Medicare for all presidents, because most likely if their theory of like, they can't get it through the Senate like goes on and they've got legitimate arguments there, you'll get something maybe like halfway or like a half measure, like 80% of the way there.
You should always go as far left as you can. This is one of the things I disagree with so strongly on Destiny, He thinks like moderation in policy works. It doesn't. I don't know what he's thinking. The Republican Party hasn't been practicing it for decades.
Obama's like public option thing is a great example of what happens when you just show your hand at the beginning, and then like the other side will just take advantage of that immediately.
Yeah, when your opening hand is a Heritage Foundation plan and you get moved to the right from that, the feels.
Yeah, it's not the best. So when you put that in the context of the Chilean movement, I mean, they want to change the subsidy system. They want to make the privatized water system like public. They want to change the constitution. Those are posts that this government under no circumstance is going to cave in on unless it literally like meant the collapse of Chile, right? Because this is a right-wing government. This is a billionaire leader. It'd be like if we tried to get like Medicare for all from Michael Bloomberg. It's not going to happen, right? So we need to understand it in that context. But
and also, to be sorry, and also, I would like to add the we need to have a historical understanding also. Like the dictatorship in Chile tells you a story. There's a whole story during the 28th century of authoritarianism. We had a couple of coups besides the 73 one in Chile, and that also configures both what the kind of government and the kind of state that's been built. And in our case, it's a very authoritarian, it's a very vertical system, and also the fact that Chilean civil society basically started living 10 years ago once again. So to me, this is also what's been amazing from our revolution. Well, I don't know if it's a revolution, but uprising or whatever, is that it's they've been calling the awakening, or the, I don't know how to translate it correctly, but Chile is awake, right? Like from sleeping from this slumber created by the dictatorship, by the constitution, by this neoliberal system, and that we have been sucking up, the elites. Candy coated dick, and it seems that we have liked it, but really we haven't, and we just realized that it's been basically getting fucked up over. But just to make the point, we need to historicize these socio-political relations. There's a tradition, there is a push, there's I don't know, all those things. I just to say that we need to take that into account when doing this political analysis too.
I'm very glad you said that, because if you analyze just about every uprising that's going on in the world right now, they can all, except for the Bolivian one, which is a coup.
It's weird, yeah.
I read the OAS report. I can tell you, even according to the OAS report, this would actually be a coup. But back to this. Basically every uprising on the ground that's happening is due to that historical context you're talking about. Like when we look at the buildup over time, when we talk about the extradition agreement in Hong Kong, that was a straw that broke the camel's back. If it was just that, this wouldn't have happened. When we looked at Sudan, it was this dictator trying to say, well, I'm going to keep ruling past this point, even though everybody thought this was going to be the end of my rule. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. In this, it was the fare hikes, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's never just one thing. When you see an article that's like, "Oh, Chile revolts over fare hikes,"
exactly.
It's never that simple. You need to look at the historical context, which, from an American standpoint, is very hard to do.
And I think that's the part of the Bosch's question, is that part of the thing we can do is to make this historical. I think for example, it's the same exact thing, in my view, with gender issues. Sure, maybe feminism saying that, hey, men can't make any decisions about abortions and so on sounds rough, but there's a 10,000 Western civilization history of us men making decisions for women. So it makes sense if you put it in the context, and it helps understanding. And I think that, again, throwing the ball back to Bosch and so on, is that there is my sociological perspective is that there is a huge historical perspective of things from the American audience. Like, they are very bad at thinking historically. What do you think about that, Bosch?
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to look back in retrospect and say that sometimes things were done with or they went too far, they were hyperbolic. But at the end of the day, there are probably 1,000 failed attempts at making the world a better place that no one ever heard about because they adhered too hard to the the faculties of decency and civility, of being moderate, of kowtowing when necessary, of playing tactically. I personally like. The indignity and suffering caused by any injustice worth throwing a revolt of this scale over is probably worth whatever damages are done in the revolution it prompts. I'm in favor of aggrandizing this to the extent that it's not capable of being ignored. Which I guess is why it's such a shame that it's getting so little media coverage, at least in America. Has Trump even made a statement on Chile?
I can actually comment on this since I work with a lot of these people on occasion. These people really, some of them who run in my circles and believe in what I believe in, they're really for these Chilean protests. But these people in power, including some government officials that the majority of Americans would call left wing, I can't comment, but they kind of look down on these protesters. They really see them as a threat to U.S. interests. They see them as as going like kind of like, oh, these are part of the people that we kind of work to overthrow. We don't really need this at the moment. This is a challenge to our power in South America. We're dealing with something in Brazil now. We finally resolved Bolivia, and now we got to deal with this. We got to deal with these and I've heard a few of them literally just call them uppity.
Sorry, Tubi. It's like we got a deal. You know the level of entitlement that these U.S. interests have. It's like fuck you, right?
I request to keep my job.
yeah, of course.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, Tweppy being...
That's my anti-colonialism. Sorry.
Hey, man, I openly call myself anti-imperialist, anti-colonialist. A lot of people hate it, but man, I just work harder than them, so that's why I'm there, and they're below me, man.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's not a criticism on you by any means.
What do you guys think? What do you think people can do here in the United States to meaningfully affect this discourse? Are there any? This sounds so stupid, but are there any people we could contact? Are there any politicians who have expressed sympathies? Are there any Twitter hashtags? What can be done?
Bernie did at least one tweet.
He did?
And he expressed some. Yeah. I think I saw it. So there's that.
Gotcha.
I would say like really the biggest problem when it comes to foreign policy in America and when it comes to dealing with things like that is nobody knows that this is going on. The consequences of our foreign policy decisions don't really touch Americans directly in the way it touches indirectly with our infrastructure, with our lack of like spending in environmental solutions, the environmental impact of empire, which is not often talked about, not to like move into any eco-fascist stuff. But if we were to somehow translate that to Americans, because like the furthest back we could go back to like something attacking America is like what, Pearl Harbor. We don't know the consequences of bombing, where you can go into like if you went to like Russia or if you went to like Eastern Europe, you can still like see bullet holes within the infrastructure from like World War II or civil wars that kind of like went through the region at the time. You go to America, that's like a distant memory.
Is there any country on earth that has tasted conflict on its borders less than America over the past 150 years? Any at all?
I mean, like, I don't know, Iceland?
Yeah, I guess like Iceland, Australia, maybe?
Hey, man, those emus destroyed them.
That's true. They got fucking rocked by those.
That's horrible, man.
By those neck birds.
Hey, that's a real tragedy. We can't mock that, Fosh. That's insensitive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. UK? No, UK got bombed to shit during World War II.
Yeah.
No, it's just really weird because that is like a wild perspective shift, you know?
So this is a really important point I want to make. So you understand that, and everybody in this room understand that, and everybody like watching this understands the consequences of that bombing to an extent, but we never really can. No American really can understand that. And then you give those people who don't understand the consequences of those bombings and an offensive the biggest empire in history and tell them to go ham with no like checks on power, with a president that almost has complete authority over our armed forces. And then you elect someone like George Bush, Donald Trump, with Dick Cheney at the helm. What do we expect to happen? It is of an extreme importance. The number one like job of anybody in America that's working on foreign policy is to inform and help people know about the consequences of our empire, because our bombs touch every single corner of the planet. Our empire touches every single corner of the planet. The consequences of our votes affect those people. So they can't vote in elections, but we can. So we have a responsibility to inform people and to vote.
And also the economic interests. Well, there's the oil, in Middle East. I know nothing about that. But part of the issues here in Chile, it's the privatization of the natural resources, such as copper, such as lithium, which is going to be super important. And like most of the lithium in the world is mined, as far as I know, here in Bolivia and in Chile. And there's a lot of economic interest too in international capital and so on. And for example, there's a thing with the TPP, the Trans-Pacific whatever treaty, which also is in the end, it's about not just the boats, not just the bombs, not just the state, but the interrelationship between how the U.S. state works for these economic powerhouses and vice versa. So I think there's that too, which is what, in the end, it's like a two-pronged attack, which we can't ignore.
in any case, and
Yeah.
that's global capitalism and so on.
Yeah. The military is used to enforce a state of colonialism abroad. I mean, a lot of people think it stays in the past. It really isn't. You can look at nations like Zimbabwe. You can obviously call the Israel-Palestine situation colonialism. We right now have U.S. troops in Syria whose only goal is to protect oil. That's it. And it's been directly declared by the president that the only reason we're there now is to protect oil. The military is being used at this moment as a mercenary force, which is not only an insult to the world, but is an insult to the troops that, are honestly brave and honestly thought they were getting in to help defend freedom. But then our president uses them as a slot machine.
All right, Mr. fucking election campaign 15 years from now. It all gets summed up by the quote, right? I don't even remember the quote. It's something along the lines of the Western world has always presumed its superiority on the basis of them having produced and exported better ideas, but the rest of the world knew it was always superiority in the development and application of systematized violence. Sometimes Americans forget this. The rest of the world never does. It's something like that, right? But I probably butchered that horribly, but the sentiment is nonetheless the same. What's interesting to me is that, at least for the first time in my recent memory, all of this is taking place in not just but an extremely neoliberal society in Chile. So I think this is almost a testing ground with which we can, not to trivialize what's going on over there, but it is interesting, I think, to see a real uprise of consequence against the outreach of neoliberal policy in a way that can't be meaningfully conflated as either a revolt against authoritarianism or like a socialist revolution. I think this is a more how do you say, concentrated, free of conflating factors. I'm very interested to see how it plays out and how it's received in a historical sense. How people will be talking about this 2 or 3 years down the line.
I tend to agree. I mean, that's one of the main, like you talked about earlier, how you haven't really seen a lot of stuff in the news media about Chile and horrible communist revolt about to overthrow and kill grandmas or whatever. It's because they can't. There's not really a lot of material. What are they going to say? Well, the horrible protesters, which 15 of them have been killed by government forces. Well, they're protesting for the social services against a billionaire president. It's just not good narrative. It's just really bad.
But you can still spin it, and I think that to me that's been amazing to see that. Chile again has a long history of anti-communism, at least from the 40s. We had concentration camps against communists in the 40s, which General Pinochet also directed at some point. The coup was obviously inspired directly by the anti-Marxist sentiments. One of the things I am analyzing in our constitution as well. And it's something that is still looming and that's still underpinning the discourse, the narrative that is used to talk about this thing. For example, President Piñera, the first day when he announced the state of exception and he installed a curfew and people couldn't move, couldn't gather and so on, he said, we are at war with a very organized enemy. And the sentiment and the how to say it, the concept that the right wing still uses, it's still the specter of Marxism, the specter of communism. Even if it's, and that's something that is very interesting, even if it's the hammer and sickle flag has not been seen so much in these protests. Obviously, there's a lot of communist people, the young Communist Party, etc., etc. It's still something that the right wing uses and weaponizes against these protests. So they're saying, no, these are organized by nasty international communist Marxist groups. So the right wing, and thus what the media exports, because that's in Chile we have a right wing controlled media. That's the export that they get outside. So I disagree in this too, in that the narrative being spinned is against communism and Marxism, even if it's not there in the practice.
Is your really quickly? Is your media generally state controlled or is it privately operated?
No, there's no state. Even the government TV channel is it has the logo of the government, but it's basically privately funded, so everything is privatized.
Fuck? Okay, all right, just checking.
What do you want me to say?
I just like, all right, okay, yeah,
yeah, and it's all controlled by a few families.
It's funny because I've heard that one of the only like genuinely decent professions you guys have, not even a profession really, but your firefighters are all volunteer, and apparently they're very highly respected.
They are the only one. They're the only institution that's still respected highly, and I think that is because they are shielded from the capital, and I think from the touch of capitalism and capital, and that kind of orientation.
Yeah, I wouldn't want any like fucking Nero shit, show up at your house when it's on fire and start negotiating a price.
Exactly.
Twubby, what
and the thing.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. I just want to say that just the firemen are also kind of. I have seen that they refuse to be like state controlled because their wages will be shared and so on. So that just tells you how the public system is in Chile.
Gotcha. Twubby?
Yes.
No, you were going to say something, and then I interrupted by asking.
Oh yeah, earlier.
The media was state owned or.
Yeah, I was talking primarily from like an American perspective because like that's how I view the world. Through like how does America view it and how will America affect it? Because we control the biggest empire in history. But when it comes to stuff in like on the ground in Chile, of course they're gonna like try to paint any protester as like a Marxist rioter here to destroy like wonderful like liberalism that has been brought to Chile, and it's horrible, and they're gonna bring back the regime and all this other stuff like the regime before Pinochet, and they're gonna bring back evil social. Of course, that's how they're gonna paint it. But from an American perspective, and trust me, like I'm very like adamant about like watching how foreign policy is like shown through like CNN and like MSNBC and like Fox News. There hasn't been a lot of discussion. Like the worst stuff I've seen is some government officials saying that like Maduro wants the Chilean protesters to do what they're doing and revolting, and then Maduro will have a puppet government. It was like some ridiculous stuff.
Oh
and
yeah,
that
sorry.
person got such.
I don't know if you know, but there's a lot of, especially in social media, right-wing people saying that Maduro sends money to the protesters and that Maduro is like paying for sandwiches and drinks and so on for the protesters. And this shows you, again, I'm just going to interrupt you, but there's video images of, like trucks, sorry, not trucks, like small cars handing out, food to protesters. And right-wing people say like, oh, this is Maduro sending money like Chilezuela and so on and whatever. And the protesters are saying like, dude, this is solidarity. Like you see people in the street, you give them food. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I think that's the mindset of the right-wing people versus protesters in this case.
You guys didn't hear Vladimir Lenin set up a trust fund prior to his death that would pay out to the Chilean protesters 100 years later?
Yeah, no, Evo Morales and Maduro both have like shaven and like put on makeup and are actually on the ground actively training guerrilla forces.
You think Castro is dead? Son. Sorry.
Guys, he knows.
By the laws of YouTube video algorithm preferential search treatment, I should probably wrap this up soon. I just want to say that I really appreciate both of you speaking on this because I was largely ignorant of these protests. Is there anything that either of you would like to cap off on? Obviously, Twubby, in the near future, we need to talk about, at the very least, Haiti and Hong Kong. I'd like to have you on more regularly if possible.
That'd be wonderful.
But
I could be your official foreign policy advisor.
Yeah, I would actually, unironically, really appreciate that. Thank you.
That'd be really dope.
In regards to Chile, in particular, is there anything that you two would like to cap off on?
You can go first.
Thank you. Well, my focus of research is the Constitution. That is very dear to me, and I think structural reform is necessary, and the call for new Constitution will not answer every problem, but it will be definitely a step towards legitimating both the social protests and the political response to that. And I think that's a huge issue that we have not talked about enough, which is the issue of the legitimation and what the organizing principles of legitimation is in discourse, in the constitution, in the institutions, in the economic and political system, and so on. And I think that's also one of the things that's been in the discussion right now in Chile. And as a social scientist, I would love also to see more both usage of social scientists in these matters, in the constitution writing, in the process, and so on, but also in the actual social scientists coming out, doing public discourse, doing public work. That's why I like and I really do enjoy your content, Posh, because I think even if you say that you don't read and all of that, you do a lot of trying to make concepts understandable, and that's something that's very dear to me. I think that I align with Pierre Bourdieu in saying that we social scientists need to give out weapons and arm the population with concepts so that they can defend themselves from these systems of oppression, and all of that. So that's my goal, to give out weapons, not from the high standing point of, oh, I know this shit, but rather, look, this is what there is. Let's use it for justice, for dignity, for equality, and all of that.
I try to make not reading fun for everyone, okay? That's my goal.
Exactly.
Thank you, man. And Twapi, what about yourself?
I just think as Americans, we need to realize that while you don't really realize that you have a lot of power over what changes are going to develop in the rest of the world. You may not be in the debate rooms, but your votes matter. And we can see from Bolivia, we can see from Venezuela, we can see from the history with Cuba and banana republics. When it comes to Latin American affairs, definitely ones that involve substantial social change, America is always in that room, whether it's through like organizations like the OAS or if it's through direct involvement. So when we look at these movements around the world, we have to be actively involved in lobbying our governments and acting as internationalists when dealing with these issues. So I would ask for everybody to continue to monitor the situation, to continue to advocate for real social change in these countries that you may not feel the direct consequences of this involvement, but being that with them in solidarity, knowing that you are a vital member of that struggle. Even though you're not in the same country on the streets with them, you can show that support through other means, through getting involved and really pushing for real change. So all I can ask for everybody is to get involved, lobby their congressmen, lobby their senators, and really just spread knowledge online. That is the most you can do for this movement.
Fuck yes. Thank you both very much for enlightening my dumb Amerifat brain, choked, as are my arteries, with lard and misinformation. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Do we get to plug our stuff now?
Absolutely. Plug away.
Okay, you can go first, Mr. Chilean.
I'm Mr. Chile. I am Chile. We are all Chile.
We're all Chile.
No, on this blessed day.
On this blessed day, on the day of the Lord. No, just my Twitter at Kilpatay. It's been hanging out, and I do have a small website. It's called doctoranding.org that I'm trying to set up, and I have written a few things on this, mainly from the perspective of social sciences and so on, and it's just something I'm trying to do and to help people get a PhD if they want to, but it's in Spanish, so whatever. Fuck Piñera, fuck Carol Dance, and yeah, thank you, Wash.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Awesome. And for me, there's just two things I want to plug. Number one, I'm going to plug the Red Crescent, which is an amazing organization doing work on the ground in Rojava. They're basically the medics that go to the front lines and help civilians and brave soldiers who have fought in the front lines in Rojava's struggle against the Turkish invasion. If you guys maybe just look them up, drop them a few bucks, really appreciate it. I know they would appreciate it. They release reports telling you what they actually did with the money. I'm sure everybody in Rojava would really appreciate the solidarity. And to help me, it doesn't seem like a lot, but actually following my Twitter really helps me. It definitely helps you when you do a lot of work in foreign policy and international relation work, and definitely in local politics. So if you could follow my Twitters, I'm now aiming. I'm going to be ballsy. I'm going to try to aim for 2,000 by the end of the year. I'm really upping it up. I'm getting a little egotistical now, but I'd really appreciate it if you followed my Twitter. It really helped me out.
I believe in you.
Awesome.
Thank you both very much. I hope both of you have a phenomenal day. We're going to go now to substantially more frivolous topics, okay?
Awesome. Great. Right. And enjoy Blizzard and video games and whatever.
All right, get out of here. Go. Oh, God. Nice. We should probably catch up with donos, shouldn't we? Also, Posadas John, if the API missed one of your donos, just repeat the text to me and I'll read it out loud. Since you're an Amerifat, what do you think about circumcision? That shit's child abuse. Very cringe. Very cringe. I'm not getting on the Overwatch 2 train. I don't know. I feel like I've kind of kind of lost interest in the infinitely replayable, like, multiplayer competitive game, you know? Like League of Legends or Hearthstone or Team Fortress 2 or Overwatch or Call of Duty. I feel like I've had it fall out of favor a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've been trying to play more difficult single-player games lately. That's been a lot more fun for me. When are you going to stream Modern Warfare? I'm doing it tonight. Oh yeah, CS:GO. I never liked Counter-Strike. Whatever. Here, let me go over donos. Wait, is it game time, not PragerU? I think it might be actually me eating food time, but I'm not sure. Let me go over donos, then we'll see. If I don't do PragerU today, I'll do it tomorrow. Mr. Durian Soda with the $6. It looks like PewDiePie is wearing Himmler glasses in this video. Oh no. Oh, that was a while back, Posadas John. I don't have that API anymore, I'm afraid. Warlord 007 with the $5. Where should I go to be a bigger activist, either IRL or online? God, I don't know. You can get lucky with a YouTube channel. You can go yell at a public official through a window. I have no idea, comrade. That's extremely broad. Can I interest you in a possible future stream of The Last of Us? I've never played The Last of Us. I might play it someday. I don't know. Wash, I have a lost dono. God damn it, you guys. I'm genuinely sorry if the API ever misses a person's dono. There's only so much that I can do about it, I'm afraid. Let's see. Yeah, Posadas John, I caught everything you sent. Or it's not in the API at all. If anyone's if I've missed anyone's donation, please feel free to just type it out to me in chat and I'll respond to it as though I'm receiving a dono. No, I'm not actually playing Call of Duty tonight. Lucaris with $5. Are you interested in covering the rise of fascism in Europe post-2008? I might in the future, but I'm trying to go a little bit further away from academic topics for a bit. I'm trying to focus more on populist stuff that gets people's attention. That is, after all, where the most minds can be changed. I don't find it frivolous in the slightest. Miss Mittens with the unknown currency, or the $5. Finish the following sentence with reality. Jeffrey Epstein didn't blank himself. A, eat. B, kill. C, shit. D, all of the above. Well, I think the answer would have to be B, because I cannot know for sure whether or not Jeffrey Epstein has never shit himself nor eaten a fat load from his dick. I have no idea, so I am compelled to stick to what I know empirically, which is that he did not kill himself. Waka with the 50 Czechoslovakian currency units. I've been binging your content for the past couple of weeks. Keep up the good work. Here's my last 50 Czechoslovakian currency units. Buy a beer or something with it, lol. Promise I will. If only I drank beer. Yeah, maybe I'll get weed with it, huh? Thank you very much, comrade. I'm delighted to hear you're enjoying the videos. We're all doing our best out here. Czechoslovakia no longer exists? Oh, is it Slovakian? Listen, I don't know, okay? I'm an Amerifat. I'm an Amerifat, okay? Haven't we just established that? Then it must be the Czech Republic. Okay. Tane with the $5. Happy payday. Also, tell cultural Marxist what your favorite colors are. I like lots of colors. I like all sorts. Bigly. I like big colors, okay? I like lots of them. I don't like to limit myself. I do like the vaporwave pastels, though, that's for sure. Feathered Biped with the incredibly generous $16.90. Thank you, comrade. Fucking it up over here. Hey, Vosh, I'm a lurker and I'm wondering if you think Contra is okay. She gave me hope going through suicide treatment because of this hellscape. Also, can I make art for you? Comrade, you can make art for me all you like, but I'm afraid I won't be paying for it. I'm not in the market for commissioning anything, but if you want to make art of me and tweet it at me, then like free, fucking go ahead. Safe work, not safe work, go ahead, have fun. In terms of whether or not Contra is okay, no, I don't think Contra is okay. I think Contra is probably depressed and experiencing a bout of alcoholism right now. That's just my guess. Godspeed, Contra. The best we can do is make the internet a comfortable place for her, okay? That's what we all have to do. Thank you, comrade. I really appreciate the dono. It's very kind of you. Sai with the $1. Ooh, shill for me again, please, father, so I can afford to exist. I have more art up now anyway. All right, folks, it's time. The weekly Sai shilling stream. Look, it's art. Look. Look, that's pretty damn rad looking. Look at that shit. Fuck yeah. Art? Oh my god, look at that. That's amazing. That's better art than what I can do. I'm going to link that shit down in the chat and the YouTube chat. Go out there. Fucking, if you've got art desires, go check it out, comrade. What have you got to lose, apart from the money you pay fairly for the labor of a professional artist? Go for it. Do it up. Sake Tanuki with the 1213. Thank you so much, comrade. I really appreciate it. ABACABB. Mortal Kombat was trying to tell us decades before. That's true. True. You know Mortal Kombat is ACAB because they endorse political violence. It's true. It's all true. It's true. Thank you, comrade. I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Solarint with the $1. Keep up the good work, comrade. Thank you. I will. And Caius with the $1. Wait. Socialism is whenever the government does anything, as we know. The government does healthcare in Japan, and thus ambulances. An ambulance killed Yoshikage Kira. Socialism killed Kira and added him to the Black Book, boys. 100,000,001 dead due to communism. Cringe. That's pretty cringe. Can't believe socialism killed Kira. He just wanted to live an ordinary life. Sake Tanuki with the $5. Thonkers, boomer, thonkers. That is true, Sake Tanuki. I can't contest it. Thank you. Nahaima with the $5. Welp, never playing zombies versus humans with this guy. Oh, that would have been the libertarian dude who shot somebody from Chile. Yeah, man, fuck that guy. God, what a fucking paranoid piece of shit. Holy shit. Vosh, do I help the algorithm by only watching VODs? I'm afraid you actually don't, Misman. But I appreciate it anyway. Sake Tanuki with the $5. Did you wash your donations? Yes, I did. Every donation that I get gets put into my PayPal, which gets put into my bank, which I withdraw in cash, and then I wash. I power wash it. I put it all in the dryer. Unfortunately, this process does lead to a lot of destroyed currency. So about 80% of what people donate to me is lost to the dryer. Very unfortunate. But I keep it washed, if nothing else. Jay Showa O with the incredibly generous $21.78. Comrade, you are fucking it up today. You are being incredibly generous, and I do sincerely appreciate it. Why does the left hate each other? Mr. Blair White is a man, according to her. You have an artistic talent at making your donations indecipherable, comrade. The left hates each other because the left is interested in moral behavior, And people who are interested in moral behavior have a tendency to easily condemn those who misalign slightly with their morals, even if it is ultimately counterproductive because there are people with far worse morals right over the horizon. I don't know what the left hating each other has to do with Blair White, because Blair White is pretty far right. But Blair White is indeed a woman, albeit an extraordinarily heartless and stupid one. Godspeed, comrade, and much appreciated. 486 with the 1312 ARS. I don't know what the currency is, but I know what 1312 means. Thank you, and ACAB to you too, brother. Mrs. King with the 5 Australian. Yeet the rich, only in Minecraft. Violence is wrong. Thank you. And Rory with the $1. Why do you think some people in the trans community are afraid to call out cis people who are well liked? I haven't experienced that because a lot of people like me, and I am cis, and trans people call me out all the time. But if I had to generalize your statement, I would say in all likelihood, trans people live on the precipice of a really unfortunate social stigmatization, you know? They're on the cusp of widespread recognition and acceptance, but there are still a large majority of people who are either outwardly antagonistic towards trans people or misunderstand to the extent that they're functionally indistinguishable from being outwardly antagonistic. In that environment, trans people have to be pretty protective of their allies, you know? So I imagine that that it would make people uncomfortable calling out cis people who could conceivably be considered allies. That's just my guess. Ari updates with the tier 1 sub. Thank you. Hey Vosh, keep being awesome. I recently got into a relationship with a girl and introduced her to your JBP interview. We're both watching you now. Fuck yeah. Man, I actually can't believe there are people who like watch me with their partner and stuff. That's so fucking cool, you know? That's so rad. Oh man. Thank you, comrade. I hope you both enjoy. Lexi with the 420. Trans rights. True! And Gayfesh with the $5. This is ContraPoint's internet. We all just live in it. God, I wish. An internet run by ContraPoints would be perhaps a little bit hard on the eyes with all the aggressive pastel bisexual lighting, but would probably nonetheless be a better internet. Feathered Biped with the $5. Don't worry, comrade. I'd never ask for money from you. You don't have money, but I do have a tablet to pay for your work, Papa Vosh. Ah. Well, I mean, Godspeed, comrade. And you know what? Honestly, good on you for being in a position where a tablet can afford you anything. There's the art market out there is so fucking hard. I really do wish you the best. Thank you, comrade. And N11S9 with the $5. Would you ever do a 40k lore stream? I don't know enough of 40k lore. I don't read the books. It's been years since I've read any of the codexes. What I could probably do is like ramble about 40k for 2 hours and like make it all like more political than it already is. I think that would be a lot of fun. Sai with the $1. Another $1 so I can reply to chat. Sai, you can just type in chat. Hi, I see you. I love you. Thank you for your praise of my art. Ooh, 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 ooh. ACAB. My computer is so shitty I can't have my drawing program and chat up at the same time anymore, it seems. Sad. That is really sad, actually. I mean, here's to you being able to get a sicker computer, you know, that can handle both at the same time. I hope it works out for you. And as with the commissions. And BugGirl93 with the $1. I've paid $2 today. Show me Gecko Re. That's true. Yeah, folks, I'm actually really fucking tired because I got really poor sleep last night. I'm actually like fucking... You've probably seen me. Like, you know what I mean? Hypers if you've seen me. So I'm going to go get a gecko and fulfill my promise, okay? And all the good stuff, we'll do it in tomorrow. We're gonna do it up tomorrow. Lots of good stuff tomorrow. Alright, 1 second. You missed the gecko, don't you? Hold on. Geckos. We have like a dozen. Here we are. I'm delighted to say that my cat has not yet eaten these fucking morons. Reach. Yeah? Geck. Mlem. My hand is shaking because I have to like hold her up at an awkward angle. Do a mlem. No! Come here, you. Oh, Dante Thorne, I heard earlier that your ferret died. I'm really sorry to hear that, friend. Ferrets are really cute. There we go. Say goodbye. There, now she's on the monitor. No, 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 no. It gets very electrical back there. All right, I'm going to put her back. Oh, did you spit some gas? There's a bunch of water on the leaves. Because it's so cold. No, it's water. How she lose her tail, Vosh? Hyena, whoever wants to answer. That Geck was originally pulled from like a group of multiples that all bullied her. She had like crippling bone hurting disease. And it was only through the diligent care that Hyena provided her that she was able to survive at all and is now functionally healthy. Killer 8-Bit with the $2. Heck yes to 40k rambles. Yeah, that'll be one stream. All right, folks. Sorry I'm tired. It's just the damn cat. I'll try to go to bed earlier tonight, okay? Tomorrow morning, we're doing same stream, same time. Except this time, we're not retreading the PewDiePie thing. That was the... that was just the... that was just the two things. David Pacman released a video that was against Morales. Will you respond to it? I'm really tempted to, because I've seen it, and it's pretty bad. And I'll do Roaming Millennial one day as well. All right. Love you all very much. I'm going to go take a giant piss as soon as the stream is done. What am I talking about tomorrow? In addition to other things, tomorrow we're having a climate change scientist come on to explain to us why we're all going to die. That should be fun, right?